can run the 40 faster than Tom Brady. He got a perfect score on the Wonderlic. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Well, it's not exactly a good thing when you're bringing in competition for the first-round draft pick you selected 2 years ago. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. That doesn't sound awesome. That's not like a full-throttle support for the guy who was just taken 20 overall not that long ago. Welcome to the show, by the way. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Perloff.
Yeah, but you can't have it both ways in this particular situation. Don't you want them to bring in competition for Kenny Pickett, who they took number 20 overall?
Maybe. It's not a good sign. And it doesn't mean that Kenny Pickett is anywhere close to keeping this job. And that's basically an indictment now on the organization. Not all first-round draft picks work out. Not all of them are the same. But, man, you didn't really help this guy all that much either. Like, the offensive coordinator situation was terrible. He's trying to come back from an injury last year. You end up going with the hot hand of Mason Rudolph, who, by the way, Omar Khan, who we're going to play the clip from in a moment, who's the general manager of the Steelers now. Perloff, he doesn't know much about what's going to happen with the quarterback situation for the Steelers. But one thing he does know is he wants Mason Rudolph back in that building. Like, what are we doing here? This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations.
Well, Mason Rudolph was definitely better than Kenny Pickett last year. So
okay,
that's an upgrade. But that being said, I think you and I often disagree about this particular point. They screwed up the pick. Don't hold on, not that you believe in holding on. Okay, you screwed up Kenny Pickett. Start to acting like you don't have to hold on and be precious about that. And it's not an indictment of the front office that they missed. It is an indictment, but it's not the end of the front office. The Niners missed on Trey Lance, and they said, okay, we know the draft is a crapshoot. We took our best chance with Trey Lance at number 3 overall. The Steelers should say, we took our best shot with Kenny Pickett at number 20, and we understand this isn't working. Let's bring in some competition. I think that's what smart teams do.
No, I get it, but I think we're missing one key part about that with the San Francisco model and why that ended up working out so well. Let's call it what it is. That was so incredibly lucky that Brock Purdy happened to not just be there for Mr. Relevant, that they took him with the last pick, and that he was ready to step into that role. The Steelers really don't have a lot of great options here. And so because they haven't really developed anyone. I mean, Mason Rudolph was left for nothing. He hadn't started in 2 years. And Pickett, they have to wear this as much as the player. Did they do enough to try to support a first-round pick that you put all of this, all of this confidence into?
Oh, they definitely did.
You think so? With Matt Canada?
I mean, their coaching choices are terrible, but their picks, they've surrounded Kenny Pickett with a ton of talent.
I know, but that's
something.
Okay, but he couldn't get them the ball until like the last 2 minutes of the game because the game plan was so out of whack. Right. The dude's got one 300-yard passing season.
Right.
What? It's the NFL in 2023/24.
Yeah, I think that's Kenny Pickett's fault. I think they drafted I'm going to say it. They kind of drafted a stiff.
Oh, boy.
They kind of screwed it up a little bit. I think isn't that the consensus right now? I think that's what the Steelers are telling you without telling you is, okay, we're not sure about Kenny Pickett. We know we have these good players around us, but you have to keep an open mind. What are you supposed to do? So I like that that's fine they're bringing Mason Rudolph. You need some bodies in that building. First of all, Kenny Pickett with his small hand seems to get injured a lot. I was into Kenny Pickett last year. I liked him in college, but it just doesn't seem like there's anything there yet. So I kind of agree with what they're doing. They're saying, let's bring in competition. What option do they have? They can't go run it back with all that talent around them. They need to bring 3 or 4 quarterbacks into this building, just like the Niners did. The Niners had, at one point last year, had 4 quarterbacks. They had Brandon Allen was hanging around, Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and our guy, Brock Purdy. So I think that you need to throw bodies at this problem at quarterback.
Okay, but this is the quintessential if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that became a cliche, and now, all these years later, here are the Pittsburgh Steelers just playing into it. So here's Omar Khan. He said the Steelers do have full confidence in Pickett, but they want to bring in competition.
I have full faith in Kenny. He's shown us some good things, and obviously there were some issues with the offense, and I'm excited about the impact that Arthur Smith's going to have on him. Arthur's very optimistic about Kenny, and I know they've communicated, and like I said, we'll have some strong competition there, and we'll see where it goes.
All right, and I know how you feel about Arthur Smith,
well,
the offensive coordinator.
he's just a little conservative for my taste. I mean, here's the thing. He's way better than Matt Canada. I have a question for you, Maggie. Can you trust a front office that let Matt Canada come in and drive this Ferrari last year with all that talent on both sides of the ball? Will you ever forgive them and Mike Tomlin for having Matt Canada kind of throw away a season?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I think Mike Tomlin, because he is a coach who's such a now he'll be the longest tenured coach, right? Now that Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick are gone. So he's a well-regarded and well-respected head coach. And I think the Matt Canada thing got totally foisted on him. Like, it was his decision, his decision to hire him, his decision to keep him. And I would generally believe that because I think that Mike Tomlin has a lot of power in that organization, and rightly so. He's earned a lot of power. But I don't have a lot of faith in the front office. And I don't have a lot of faith in this general manager that's 2.5 years into the job. I mean, has he really earned it? You are sitting there with potentially a Super Bowl roster, and you have no clue what's going on at QB.
Yeah, but I mean, he's drafted very, very well. I mean, he got Joey Porter Jr. in the second round. Yeah. That guy would be a top 5 pick if they could do the draft again. He's had nothing but hits. Has he had 2 or 3 drafts? I mean, look at the talent around. It's amazing about the Steelers. The funny thing is they've done everything right except for quarterback. They're probably drafting as well as any team in the league, except the Niners and the Lions.
Okay, but you do
and the Rams. But he's right there. So I think he's done a great job.
No, you do have talent, but it's not like everything is really peace and love here. I mean, there is clearly a chemistry issue, and whether you want to put that on the GM or on the coaching staff or everyone, the players themselves have to own this as well. It's like they have this good team. You're not sure what's going on at quarterback, and you have former players calling them out, calling the offense out. The defense looks great. The offense can't get on the same page. Guys unfollowing the team, scrubbing their Instagrams. What's going on? Who's the leader?
This is a tradition in Pittsburgh, though. They always have talent at every position, and they bring in crazy wide receivers that fell in the draft because nobody else wanted them, and they cause havoc. That's, you could go back to Plaxico Burress, Martavis Bryant, Antonio Brown, and now George Pickens. Obviously, he is a bit of a malcontent, and Deontay Johnson's a malcontent, but they're darn good at football. So they've made it work in the past. Why can't they make all that work right now?
Well, I'll give you the reason. They don't have a quarterback. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's peak is long ago, and not that Ben Roethlisberger was any picnic at times when he was, the leader of the team, and he was, moody and all and beyond that. Yeah. But they don't have that secret sauce, clearly, that's keeping it together anymore. Again, the defense is good, but on the offense, they don't. And now you have even more question marks because Omar Khan said yesterday, not only these are all the things he said. They have faith in Kenny Pickett, but they won't hand him the starting job.
Fair.
Drafting a quarterback, not out of the question.
I like it.
Haven't ruled out adding a veteran.
They better.
Definitely wants Mason Rudolph back.
Why not?
Roll the balls out, guys. What are we doing? Who the heck is starting for this team week 1 as their quarterback? Here, let's hear from Omar Khan again. Says the Steelers looking at all options, and then was asked, well, what about Justin Fields?
I'm not going to go into details about the conversations that we've had, but like I mentioned earlier, I can tell you that I have an obligation to look at every avenue that's out there to try to make us a better football team.
Yeah, and then someone said, what about Justin Fields? And he's like, I won't talk about any specifics. Like, what about Kirk Cousins? What about Russell Wilson?
Well,
Nothing.
Actually, come to think of it, can he not talk? I don't know how the NFL rules are. He can't talk about Justin Fields, probably.
You could probably say you've had conversations with people, but you wouldn't. You wouldn't right now. I mean, he's smart enough to know that. But I think this Justin Fields is going to Atlanta. I think this ship, we don't know for sure, but it looks like that ship has sailed. So now you're looking at Kirk Cousins. Okay, but Kirk might be pretty comfortable in Minnesota. It could be Minnesota's it could be their quarterback to lose. And then you're also Russell Wilson. I don't know. He doesn't solve anything for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But all that being said, you understand this team is going to be 10-7 next year, regardless of what you say.
They haven't won a playoff game.
I understand.
In 7 years.
But the floor we're talking about is maybe if things go terribly poorly, they'll be 9-8 and not 10-7. So there is obviously some talent on this team. It's not easy to go 10-7 in the NFL. There's something good going on here. Okay, but you can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There's a lot of good things that Omar Khan and the Steelers are doing. They just haven't solved this quarterback problem yet, which is, in my mind, a reason to be excited. What if you did get a quarterback in with this team?
Listen, I think you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You are holding yourself to a much higher standard than congratulations, pat on the back. you made the playoffs by the skin of your teeth, and then you earned the right to go on the road in the first round and get whomped. I mean,
right, but if you add a quarterback to that mix,
which quarterback?
Well, that's why you got to get 4 or 5 in the building. You got to.
This keeps growing. By the way, how many quarterbacks you need as the segment goes on?
The Niners, when they had Jimmy G, was disappointing. Then they brought, he got hurt, and Nick Mullins and what's the guy, Chase Beathard, and all these guys. Not Chase Beathard, CJ Beathard.
CJ Beathard.
Maybe his first name is Chase. Who knows? They kind of were in the quarterback wilderness. Eventually, they landed on Brock Purdy, and it worked. That's why I think there's some optimism of your Steelers. I'm telling you, this guy can draft. I was watching the Combine last night. I'm like, ooh, if the Steelers like these guys, and they're probably good players, he just can't get that quarterback, which is a reason to be excited, Pittsburgh fans. What if you add a quarterback? Just add a quarterback and stir, Maggie. It's how you win Super Bowls.
I know there's a lot of teams that would love to add a quarterback and stir. But here's the thing. The other part of this for the Steelers, and why, if I am a Steeler fan, I've got a lot of angst about this. I know my team's not going to bottom out, and I still think that Kenny Pickett is going to be the starter week 1. But here's why I have angst about what's going on with the Steelers. And it's 3 people. It's Joe Burrow, it's Lamar Jackson, and it's Deshaun Watson. Yeah. And my 3 biggest competitors to make the playoffs, they all got quarterbacks. And their quarterbacks are good. And I think Deshaun, we haven't seen the last of maybe what Deshaun was just starting to come on before he got hurt. And the Browns still made the playoffs.
Yeah. No, they're all good.
They're all great.
No doubt. But first of all, I think it's a dangerous game to predict a division is going to be awesome because it always does not work out. Remember the AFC West a couple years ago and Russell Wilson? So that's one thing. The other thing, they got in 3 teams last year. So I think the AFC North is still going to dominate this division. They have a little bit of a tougher drive. Look at the Steelers' schedule. They have a lot of NFC East. So they have the Cowboys and the Eagles. So it won't be as easy this year, but you can get 3 teams out of that division into the playoffs easily. This happened last year. It could easily happen again.
855-212-4CBS. But if Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt, they're not making the playoffs.
It feels got to be real with themselves and real with their fans. They're not trying to be a contender. That's if this is the conversation we're having, where it's Kenny Pickett or some journeyman type QB.
No. Mason Rudolph, big priority.
But they drafted
Mason Rudolph. Even like you're not winning multiple playoff games, maybe even one playoff game. You're trying to do what you did last year, sneak into the playoffs, maybe be a little more competent offensively, but know that when you face the big dogs, you're probably going home.
By the way, they did all the right things to win a title. They took a quarterback in the first round. They just missed.
Right.
I can't think, their intention was right. And we all know, come on, let's be honest. They're going to add somebody. Just the fact that there was a little wishy-washy.
Who gets you excited? Like, Justin Fields would get me excited, but again, I think that ship sailed.
What are they're going to get the best possible option. I just think they're doing anything they can. They did everything right. They just picked the wrong quarterback. Kenny Pickett was a down year, and they got stuck with a guy who's probably not going to win a Super Bowl. But, just go back to the drawing board. Maybe pick a guy. What if they draft a guy in the second round or even in the first round? Would that
think they're picking 20 again? You think they'd go back to it and just again? I don't think
it's out of the question. It's one of the richest quarterback drafts in recent memory. This is the year to do it if you're going to pick a quarterback at 20.
Okay, but then again, now it's like instead of you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have 1. You've got 3 quarterbacks, you don't have 1 because this person, who is this? This is Spencer Rattler. This is who's 20. Bo Nix might be gone.
Bo Nix and Kenny Pickett seem to have a lot of similarities.
Exactly. So what?
Bo
what
Nix
are we
is,
doing
I think, it's
here?
a lot faster than Kenny Pickett, but yeah. EJ says don't go into the year with Kenny Pickett, so I'll give you Bo Nix. I'll give you a who's there when you go further down the quarterback? Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that at all if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Ryan Tannehill, no shot.
But I'll be honest though, I think look, I'm as down on the Steelers as anybody, but I think if you're looking for any upside with the Arthur Smith Kenny Pickett marriage is Ryan Tannehill's career in Tennessee. Like the Tennessee Titans, look, did they win anything of significance? No. But they did win a lot of regular season games, and he took a quarterback that a lot of people thought was broken and washed and turned him into a serviceable guy. Right. Now, look, there's no 6'6", 250-pound running back in the backfield.
Is Derrick Henry walking through that door?
Derrick Henry's not walking through the door.
Najee's not small.
But they do have a good stable of running backs with Harris and Warren. So it's not like they don't have anything. So if you're looking for the optimism is, hey, maybe he can tell Kenny Pickett and teach him how to not lose football games and how to play somewhat consistently the way he had with Ryan Tannehill.
You want to do a run game, and when you're in Pittsburgh, run game and defense, I'm all for it. I think it's great. Your wide receivers might have a mutiny. I mean,
well, they didn't get the ball once this year.
Well, that's why they were so happy when Mason Rudolph finally got into the game and he could complete a 20-yard pass.
Wasn't it the playoff game where Pickens got one target? So who knows with this? By the way, that's Tomlin's got to change a little bit, modernize, and get the ball out there. But I don't think they're as scared of these other AFC North teams. The Steelers play really well. They play really well against the Ravens. I don't think they're scared of the Bengals. And the Browns seem like 5 injuries waiting to happen. I think I will take the Steelers right now to make the playoffs next year.
Well, make the playoffs, but again, is that what we're doing here?
It's something when you have Kenny Pickett at quarterback. That's an achievement.
I think Pittsburgh Steelers fans are like, nope, this is more of that status quo, just good enough to make the playoffs, and everyone gets to keep their job. Well, except for Matt Canada, and we get to just keep going on, even though we're not actually going to win the Super Bowl.
So what should they do?
I think that they need to. Here's what I would do. You got to say Kenny Pickett is the guy this year. It's his 3rd season, okay? He got hurt last year. Let's throw a little confidence behind this dude and say we're going to do everything we can that Kenny Pickett's going to be the guy. I don't want the competition. I want this is the dude. Because if you're going to say there's a competition and the competition's Mason Rudolph, that's not going to make me feel great as a Steeler fan. If the competition was Justin Fields, okay, well, now I've got somebody who is also a first-round pick, who maybe has a little bit of upside or all that. I don't want to hear my quarterback, who I took in the first round, has to have competition from a longtime backup.
Yeah, but the Steelers fans are savvy. If they come out and say Kenny Pickett is the dude, they're not going to buy it.
I think they would.
No, I don't think so.
Well, who are you bringing in?
We'll see, but
Russell Wilson's not real competition.
Honestly, if you put Ryan Tannehill, Mason Rudolph, and Kenny Pickett competing in camp, I have no idea who wins that competition. I can tell you right now, Rudolph could beat out Pickett. He sort of did at the end of last year.
He definitely did.
And he
went with a hot hand.
By the way, Mason Rudolph was not that bad.
He wasn't, but I'm just saying if you had that guy again in the building and you were even giving games to Mitchell Trubisky, what the hell is going on?
Well, if they didn't
what
have,
are people
by the way,
seeing in there?
If they had put Mason in instead of Trubisky, they probably win 2 more games and have a much higher seed, and things would be way more interesting. You might get a game in Pittsburgh.
Exactly. I'm talking about self-inflicted obstacles you're basically throwing up in front of you. If you knew you got Mason Rudolph in the building, why'd you even mess around with Trubisky? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Rough night for Perloff. I mean, you look great. It's not that.
No. You guys cannot.
We're going to get to that next.
The hypocrisy of you guys on this, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a certain show bet about the NBA. The hypocrisy is startling on you guys' side.
Oh.
On our side?
Okay.
Yes. It's startling how all of a sudden the narrative has changed about what makes a great rookie. So all of a sudden a win matters for Victor Wembanyama when he loses every single game. You're like, it doesn't matter that he's losing. He's got great stats. So now that he wins a game and they have 12 wins, they're the worst team in the West by a large margin, all of a sudden he wins a game and the win matters.
Hold on. We're going to get to it because that's not even what I was going to talk about.
What were you going to talk about?
I'm going to tell you next. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. It is Maggie and Perloff. You're welcome to weigh in on the Steelers quarterback situation. You heard the general manager speak. You feeling any better about this quarterback thing? You feeling worse? You like what they say? You don't like what they say? They're doing circles here. I don't know. I'm not that optimistic. 855-212-4CBS. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. So yesterday, EJ, you weren't here. Carlos was contributing music, hype music for 40-yard dashes at the Combine. And we, what's that song from Rocky IV?
Hearts on Fire.
We had a little Hearts on Fire. This weekend is it's a tradition like none other. I make my kids watch the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers work out. Last night, me and my daughter watched the big, I gotta say it, fat guys run, and it was an incredible experience. She's like, Daddy, they don't look that big. I'm like, that guy out there weighs 366 pounds. So it's a big combine weekend coming up at the Perloff house.
Wow,
I'm really
so your
excited.
daughters who are 13 and 11,
yeah,
they love watching the combine.
No, they hate it. They're like, Dad, why do we have to watch this? The 13-year-old wants to watch a soap opera. The 11-year-old wants to watch cat videos.
Right.
And I made her watch. I'm like, yeah, but Chop Robinson's going to have a really big number. She's like, Dad, I don't care.
And he didn't.
Oh, no, he had a great number.
Did he? I
Yeah.
thought I saw that he was one of the guys who didn't
No,
do that great.
he's the one with the big number. But it doesn't matter because you were actually, I understand if you're not really into the NFL draft, there's nothing more boring than the combine. The fact that they can make this a TV event, kudos to the NFL because not a lot happens. The 40-yard dash is fun, but then there are all these drills where they're just like sort of batting, sort of tackling dummies and running around.
Picking up towels.
Yeah, it's not, that pick up towels thing, that thing is hysterical.
Can I run in circles and pick up towels?
Yeah.
Can I tell you the one that actually like gives me some angst? I realized I was watching it yesterday and I was like, my whole body was kind of like clenched up and tight. Was the one where the coach is in front of the guy and they start the draftee starts on their stomach on the ground.
Yeah.
Then they get up and then the coach goes, all right, left.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I love that
right. Okay, back, forward, back. And then which way are you going to exit, left or right? I was so tense. I was like, why am I tense? I'm not doing anything.
I had the thought we should do that one. I don't think any of us could do that without tripping.
I would fall.
That's why you were tense, right? Because you would definitely fall.
Thank you.
I would probably fall,
Baby
but
giraffe.
There were
I would
first-round
go
picks falling yesterday
Yeah.
doing that drill.
I would
Jared
go
Verse
so
fell.
slow, though. I think it would take me 9 seconds to get through that drill. How about the one that was right after that where the defensive lineman had to run and they bat the tackling dummy, but some poor guy is holding the tackling dummy. So, like, Chop Robinson would come and hit it, and it would hit the guy in the head. So the guy who was holding the tackling dummy had a half concussion.
Oh, my
And
God.
Rich Eisen and Daniel Jeremiah were like, oh, that's a bad job. Meanwhile, this guy has like an ambulance coming on the field because
He's like 70 years old.
Tavondre Sweat just smacked him. The drills are totally nuts. And I was actually thinking, too, is an NFL team really going to draft a guy based on whether he can pick up a towel at full speed?
I'll tell you, what happens with the NFL Combine is a little what happens with the Olympics, with like gymnastics and figure skating. You know, these people work their whole life, and then they have one little wobble, and you're like, no, that's it. Lost it. Like, how could she? You know, what are you doing here? It's like all of a sudden we become like these elite athletes.
Right.
Oh, you took
Corrupt IOC.
you took 2 more steps than you needed to. Like, there you go, out of the top 50.
But we know
Kiss your career goodbye.
NFL teams don't really do that. I understand what you're saying, but I read an article today. Johnny Newton out of Illinois, the big defensive tackle, did not show up. They're like, oh, he's going to fall big time and for not competing at the combine. There is no way an NFL team cares whether Johnny Newton, who destroyed everybody in the Big Ten, is at the combine. Teams don't really care about this stuff, right?
My favorite
Right?
thing was Braylon Trice, the edge rusher from Washington, who we just saw in the national championship game. He, on the Huskies website, was listed at 274 pounds. He weighed in at 245.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, I get it. It's one thing for your college to want to help you out. Do we really think did he lose 30 pounds?
Yeah, he lost. He went on a diet. They were talking about it so he could run a faster 40. That's the
is that
game.
right? But I
So
thought
then
you
he's
want to
gonna
be big when you're a defensive end.
No, you have a choice. You can either lose 20 pounds to run a faster 40, or you can put on weight and not run the 40. Then he's going to put it all back on for his pro day and bench press. So you have to choose. Where do you want your weight to be?
Sounds like boxing.
I was like, this is like
Yeah.
Robert De Niro when he was Raging Bull to play the role. He had to like gain 80 pounds, lose 80 pounds.
Yeah, because your 40 time really depends on your weight. You've run the 40 at several drafts.
I
and
know.
Your weight is pretty standard.
I don't
did you put
fluctuate
on
that
weight,
much.
or did you did you
next
lose
year.
10 pounds to run the 40?
Yeah, I'm going to have to train better next year. Although we're not going to the draft this year, I don't think.
I see these guys run. I actually think of you because you start off okay, but then you are straighter up than Eric Dickerson ever was in his life. You have
I'm
more
not a
wind
professional
resistance.
athlete.
All these guys are running hunched over to cut the wind resistance. You are as straight up. Full 5'9" of Maggie Gray.
Forrest Gump.
Catching all the wind. Probably slows you down a full second.
Yeah, also the last 2 years I haven't had sneakers. It's just bad planning. I've been running barefoot.
The Maggie Gray model: low woman lose the battle.
Yeah, right.
I think you have potential though because your form is terrible.
Only ways go but up.
You could definitely probably beat me. Listen, I'm not gonna.
Well, your knee's all messed up now. I could definitely beat you.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I was not fast before. The other thing too, if every time a radio show or TV show does these kind of things, somebody gets injured, and usually pretty badly.
Well-
my hamstring still hurts from the Danettes 100-yard dash in 2015. I swear, right under my right glute. And can you
Just on
imagine
rainy days,
Can
you
you
can still
imagine
feel
our
it.
crew right here? I mean, I
No.
think 3 of us would get injured if we ran 40s.
Our
I'll
old
run
producer,
the 40.
our old producer Mike Samter ran the 40 with us when we were in Vegas for that draft. They have it set up at the Fan Fest, and he felt it for like 6 months. I was like, dude, you
no.
gotta.
Oh, is that why he was gone?
Had a kid, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Convenient excuse.
Bogusch,
He was
don't talk tough. You'd get injured just like the rest of us.
I've gotten a little bit more flexible in the last little bit because I was the guy that always did something, popped a hamstring, calf hurt, whatever. So I've
what are you doing now? Hot yoga?
Regular temperature yoga.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm a
Cold yoga.
big stretching guy.
I could see Bogusch as a yoga dude.
Really?
That's awesome.
I'm a little surprised. That's really interesting. You saw this coming?
I was just going to say, are you doing yoga?
Yeah, I'm big stretching. My wife makes fun of me. Like, she works out. She just, like, gets out of bed, puts on clothes, and starts working out. I have, like, a 20-minute stretching routine. Like, my entire workout is, like, 40 minutes longer than hers for the stretching before and after.
You got to ease into the pool.
Exactly.
Cool. Wait, before we get to headlines, let's hit Darren. He's in Louisville. He wants to talk about the Steelers' quarterback options because there aren't a lot of great ones right now. Good morning, Darren. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic. What's on your mind?
Awesome. So two quick points. The first thing, I know we were just talking about the combine. First of all, Peyton Wilson, hello, 4.40. That's incredible. Number two, there's two names that come to mind for the Steelers quarterback for me personally, and they're older quarterbacks. So number one for me would be giving these guys a call. One would be Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I don't know why, for some reason, that just fits for me. Number two, I would try to entice a little bit of Matt Ryan action. I know that the Indy experiment didn't go as well. I'm an Indy fan myself. But, you know, there was a lot more than just the wheels falling off the bus of the entire franchise for that to not work.
I'm sorry, did you say Matt Ryan?
I did.
I like it.
Wait, Matt Ryan? He's in the broadcast booth with Tiki.
He's 38. He's younger than Joe Flacco.
He just did a full season of broadcasting.
Yeah, he's fine. He's younger than
fine
Flacco.
For what?
It's 38. Why is he's one of those guys who's younger than you think. Why is he not in the NFL at 38 years old? What athleticism did Matt Ryan need?
But it's over. He's waved the white flag on this, guys.
No, I think he wanted to come back last year. Wasn't that a story? I don't think he wants to be out.
I think he's out now, whether he wanted to be or not. You do a whole season in the broadcast booth. He's not a coach. He's a player.
Well, I think you could offer him a small cap number just to be able to entice him to come back to play. I know he's got some left in the tank. I feel it.
Oh, interesting. All right, Darren, well, you gave us something that I had not thought about. Thank you so much. The Kirk Cousins, I want to see a little of what Kirk Cousins looks like as 35-year-old coming off an Achilles.
What about that name, Joe Flacco, too? That's been coming up a lot.
Saw Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco would be interesting.
Joe Flacco, though, kind of needed a perfect situation because we saw him with the Jets 2 years ago, and it was a horror show.
He feels like a Steelers quarterback, though.
Well, I mean, the Browns were kind of set up, even though they had lost Chubb. They still could, they have a great defense.
Yeah.
The line's not bad. I
Very
guess same
similar
thing with the
situation
Steelers.
at Pittsburgh, yeah. And also, I know Joe Flacco's from New Jersey, but he feels like a Midwestern quarterback for some reason. Or at least he feels like an AFC North quarterback.
Well, yeah, because he played for the Ravens for 15 years.
Ravens, Browns, Steelers. It's a natural progression. He's a little better than some of the other guys that they've been throwing. He's probably, listen, you're right. Steelers fans are not thrilled about the situation. I think Joe Flacco would get their heart pumping a little bit.
Yeah, right. You got to thread the needle here because if you bring in Joe Flacco and he beats out Kenny Pickett, you all lose.
Oh, Flacco's definitely going to beat out Kenny Pickett.
You
Flacco,
all look like morons in the front office.
Flacco came in for 4 games and threw for 300 yards a game last year.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett has 2 300-yard games his entire life. Flacco, I like these. I like that Matt Ryan solution too. Hey, call Phillip Rivers.
But the last time we saw Flacco, he was throwing touchdowns to the Texans.
Yeah, back-to-back pick sixes.
No, Joe Flacco, he'll give it up. Don't get me wrong.
That's what the defense. That's where T.J. Watt
As
comes
much as
in.
he gets.
That's
Cleans
what I
up
always
the
said
mess.
about Eli Manning. Throws a very catchable ball. You just don't know if he's going to be the cornerback or the wide receiver.
Bogusch lived that for a lot of his life.
Oh, the worst.
And you've got headlines, right?
I do. Breaking news. Philly fans can't handle their wieners. What could that sentence mean?
Sorry,
The
what?
Phillies are ending the illustrious 27-year history of Dollar Hot Dog Night because fans can't behave themselves in Philadelphia. That's never happened before. Some people were throwing the dogs around Citizens Bank Park last season. There were also long lines crowding the concourse because of the extra demand. But fear not, Tubbies. The team is replacing Dollar Dog Night with multiple 2-for-1 games throughout the coming season.
2 hot dogs for $5. That's not a bad deal. By the way,
Still seems like you could buy it to throw it.
But I went to a Mets game and I had to pay $14 for a hot dog.
You're in the wrong line.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is the thing. First of all, I didn't know Dollar Hot Dog Night was such an institution in Philadelphia. Not shocking that the crowd could handle it. But here's the other part. So the concession stands were overrun. Isn't that a good thing?
But it was messing up. There was no place to walk because there were so many people online to get hot dogs for $1 that you couldn't get through
concourse
the mess to get to the other places.
Okay, but isn't that why you have the guys who are walking up and down the aisles?
I can't speak
hot dog here. Yeah. Hot dog here. Like Mike Sampner was that at the Yankees, our former producer. Great stories.
High five the frog.
Sure.
It means he's short. I got that joke in my ear before. I didn't like it either.
Okay. Second time that Sampner's making an appearance in this segment. He was a concession person at Yankee Stadium who only got to sell soda. I'm like, oh, they hated you.
Wait, what's wrong with soda?
It's the worst one because it's the heaviest and people don't like it.
They want beer.
They want beer.
I would have loved Mike Samter because that's what I consume when I go to baseball games. I don't drink alcohol, so soda. He would have made a lot of money off me. I don't know if he got a commission, but
he never got to do beer, pretzels, hot dogs. It was always soda.
Yeah. I forgot about this part of the Samter saga. It's a good one.
Did you ever hear that story of how he got arrested for running around the bases at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah. Took some dirt from the mound.
Got arrested for that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he worked there, though,
Yeah,
did he?
you still can't be out there. Oh, well, he was there as a fan.
I don't think he was working that day. But yeah, there's a lot of shady details about whatever happened there.
He earned that.
He said the game was over, but I don't know. Short, naked man runs in 7th inning. Possible.
It was weird because Aroldis Chapman was warming up, so I don't know how the game was over. But anyway.
That's a weird looking kid on the field.
Like that's a full grown adult.
Is that Jose Altuve?
Is that a new bad boy?
We once put Samter in a box and pushed it over. Anyway,
we love Samter.
We do love Samter. He's
great
the best.
guy.
Oh yes, the dollar hot
Excellent
dog
guy.
The indignity of getting hit in the face or anywhere with a flying hot dog is something you don't come back from. This is like Allen Iverson stepping over Ty Lue. Like you're friends forever. It's just like it's the disrespect of getting hit in the face with a hot dog.
It didn't even happen to me, but a friend of mine who was at my grad school, she is a big Devils fan. And I guess she went to a Ranger game thinking it was going to be sweet, and it wasn't. And she went to Philly. Actually, it was a Flyers game, and someone threw a hot dog at her, but a hot dog that had all of the condiments on her face.
What?
Yeah,
the mustard, onions, and relish?
all of it. Like I'm like the debauchery that comes with throwing not just a hot dog in itself at a woman, but also with all the condiments. That's like almost adding to the insult.
Listen, all right, I'll say it. Was she asking for it?
No.
Not in Philly.
Were you sure she was the target?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she cheering for the other
fan
team?
at a Phillies game? I mean, at a Flyers game, and she was wearing a jersey. Like she wasn't.
And that was it. That's all she did. I'm not blaming the victim here.
I mean, she may have cheered for a goal. I don't. That part of it, I don't know. I don't
God
remember.
God forbid anybody sane goes to a Phillies game or goes to a Philadelphia game. God forbid someone shows up in a uniform that's different than Philadelphia. Whoa.
The jealousy of Philadelphia fans is starting to really get to me. I mean, I saw it yesterday. Darius Slade and Steven Nelson went on a podcast that said it's the worst fan base and they're crazy. Jealousy, hello. I mean, come on.
Is that what it is?
I think it's the best fan base. They're the most intense, the most loyal, except for me, that there is in the entire world.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that right now.
We're going to talk about that right now. What are you wearing right now?
76ers.
Yeah, you're
sweatshirt.
not a 76ers fan. You're a Pistons fan.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So
I have no problem with that. The Pistons, by the way, did you see that my Pistons became not the worst team in the league last night?
They're 1 and 2 under you. So I for the listeners at home that are watching on the Maggie Perloff YouTube stream, I have made appropriate signs for Perloff to put on his shirt to cover up that 76ers logo because he is not a 76ers fan.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. What does it say?
Pistons #1 fan.
Oh, right.
And Detroit for his arm.
Oh, I love this.
There we go.
All right,
what do you have for my arm? Okay.
EJ will bring that in, the appropriate
thank you.
equipment.
It's a little homemade, to be honest, but okay.
That's right.
That's all right.
That's what we get here.
It's like the Pistons themselves. It's a blue collar type of situation.
That's right. You put it right on your shirt.
All
there
right.
we go.
Now EJ's got the sign that was printed out from the printer. Couldn't even get any color ink, huh?
No. Look what we're dealing with.
Pistons #1 fan. This is like having a.
Oh, we only have one piece of tape, though.
It's like having a hat that says #1 dad on
Right.
it. All right.
Pete, do you really think this bothers me? I'm fine with being a Pistons number one fan.
We have to honor the operation we've established here.
Yeah.
That you are the Pistons number one fan.
I get it. I feel better right now.
What is going on with Pete? Did anyone notice when Pete tried to start a conversation how bad the IOC was earlier in this segment?
Well, I do want to get to that. I'm sorry, I glossed it before. I do want to get to it. I just
Why
want to
would
get
you
us
want to
off
get to the
track.
IOC today?
Then we got into a whole conversation about Samter.
Yes. Yes,
on.
that divergence I was okay with, but do we have time for another headline?
Sure, why not? The Warriors handled their business again last night, scoring the first 14 points at the Garden, barely looking back. Steph Curry, 31 points, 11 rebounds, and a 110-99 decision over the Knicks.
It's always fun. Like, this is a special place. I always talk about the basketball history that's happened here. I've had some good nights here. 2 years ago was special. So there's just a different energy every time you come into the city, into the building.
Wow.
The Warriors have won 10 of 12 overall, 7 straight on the road.
Do you guys remember, I think it was a few months ago, maybe a couple years ago, when the Knicks were good for a week and EJ was all excited about that? I'm old
when all
enough
of
to
our
remember
players
that.
were healthy? Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let's talk about the Warriors aspect of this, because my prediction of them winning the title.
Nope, moving on. They remain 10th in the West, a half game behind the Lakers.
They're creeping.
Who fought off the Wizards in OT, 134-131. LeBron had 31-40 for Anthony Davis, and Caitlin Clark declares for the WNBA draft. She'll be a member of the Indiana Fever shortly. They had the last number 1 pick as well, taking Aaliyah Boston. Then, guys, back to you.
Okay, Bogusch, you spared Perloff in that update. We will get to the Chet versus Wemby in due time.
I haven't looked yet. How'd that go?
Now wins matter, Bogusch. Now wins matter.
Wait,
No.
We'll get to that next. Lots to do here on a very busy Friday. Don't forget, coming up in 8 o'clock Eastern time, not that far away, we are having a tarot card reader coming into the studio today. I don't believe in this stuff. EJ and Perloff, and maybe Bogusch, frightened by the idea that this woman is going to come in and tell us all what the future holds. So she's going to come in. She'll be in studio. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Wait for a second to talk about what happened between Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren last night, because I want Andrew Bogusch to be in here to be part of this, because it affects him and all of us, because Perloff's bet is on the line, which is if Wemby wins Rookie of the Year, then Perloff has to drive to San Antonio and apologize to him. We'll get to that in just a little bit, because I do want to hit the Josh Harris situation, Perloff, which is a report that came up, obviously the scouting combine going on in Indianapolis, that Josh Harris, the new owner of the Washington Commanders, is meeting with the quarterback prospects. Mm-hmm. I do not like this. I don't like this. I didn't like it last year when David Tepper was taking the private jet and going to all the pro days. Josh Harris, brilliant guy, I'm sure. You know, had to become a billionaire somehow. He's got some kind of skill set. Is it determining the best prospect to be the quarterback of your newly purchased franchise? I doubt that's in his wheelhouse.
Not ideal. But if you just bought a team, wouldn't you want to meet these quarterbacks? Why else you could buy a team if you're not going to get to meet Drake May?
Jeez, yeah. Josh Harris, wow. He can't wait to meet Drake May.
In theory, I understand what you're saying. But in reality, I have to admit, I would be right up in there. If I was an owner, I would want to meet these guys. I'm not saying, isn't there a way that you can meet these guys and not make the football decision? No. I understand what you're saying.
No, because this is what happens with billionaires. And I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, but I think this is what happens with rich people in general. They got rich, so they think, so obviously they've been validated and their decision making has been validated. But just because you got rich on a hedge fund doesn't mean you know the aspects of picking out a quarterback.
Is there a single owner in all of sports that you like?
No. Am I supposed to like any of them?
The Rooneys, I don't know. There's some popular owners. Robert Kraft. I don't know. There's got to be what owner. So you want an owner to basically buy the team and just disappear?
How about this? Yes. Wallet open, mouth shut is how I like owners. And then the other part is, if you really want to meet these quarterback prospects, and this is your new toy,
Yeah.
a toy, by the way, he had no problem with the 76ers doing the process, which was intentional losing.
Awesome.
Right. Okay. Intentional losing to the point where the NBA had to step in. I don't care what they say. They stepped in to get rid of Sam Hinkie. And
Huge mistake, by the way, by the
anyway,
Sixers to let that guy go. Anyway.
this is somebody who, how about this? Hire good people.
Mm-hmm.
Let them make the decision, and then at the end, come in and meet the quarterback once they've done the work.
Okay, all that being said, I think you're making too big a deal of everyone knows Washington's going to take a quarterback at number 2.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's going to be either Jaden Daniels or Drake May.
Right. This is a franchise-altering decision.
It's basically a coin toss. Josh Harris is not going to be able to screw this up. It's a very simple decision. He's either going to come in, and first of all, nobody knows who's going to be better in the pros. There's a lot of speculation in the draft.
Sure.
I just don't think this is a situation where, it's not Jerry Jones being the GM just because he's meeting these guys. Anybody, you or I could GM this draft for Washington. They're sitting at number 2.
No, I don't think so, because listen, if Drake May and Jaden Daniels, we have no idea how these guys are going to end up.
Exactly.
And so here's the thing, though. If I'm the owner, this is what I buy when I buy a franchise. When things go right, I get the credit.
Right.
That's what you buy.
Right.
So why do I have to meet with these guys? Why don't I empower the people below me? Because this is, now granted, Daniel Snyder is not Josh Harris as far as we know. But there was the report that Daniel Snyder came in off the yacht because he has to live in international waters to avoid prosecution for a variety of things, allegedly. He came in off the yacht and decided they were going to take Dwayne Haskins, may he rest in peace.
Yeah,
and
because his kid went to school with him.
I know. See, this is the thing. I'm not saying Josh Harris is going to be that egregious, but owners can mess this stuff up more than we ever know.
I mean, as a Jets fan, there's plenty of stuff out there about the fact that they didn't really consider any of the quarterback besides Zach Wilson because Woody Johnson said, we're taking Zach Wilson. I like his background. I like where he came from. I like his upbringing. And that was it. And the one thing I will say, too, is I think even beyond, the owner having a say, I would actually be concerned about how, everybody knows when you go into a meeting and your boss is there, you're a little different. You're a little different. You're a little more tense. Maybe there's questions you won't ask. Maybe there's things you won't do. Like, shouldn't you want your football evaluators to go to this combine, do their jobs, interview these quarterbacks, and do it without having a big cloud hanging over them? Like, this is their new boss.
It's a great point because sometimes when your boss is there, you kind of say things that you think your boss wants to hear.
Yeah, right.
Or he'll say, hey, wasn't that guy great? And you could be thinking in your mind, oh, gosh, no. But, hey, if my boss thinks he's great, then, oh, yeah, boss, definitely. Great idea.
Like, you're not going to get the real – you might not get a true kind of evaluation from your football evaluator when they come back and say, hey, I don't like what that guy said, or I love what that guy said. If they say, hey, I like that guy, they may say, oh, yeah, he's pretty good, I guess. Like,
but here's the deal. The Commanders got the best GM candidate on the field, Adam Peters. He's the number 1 guy on the market. And they got a veteran head coach. Dan Quinn's not scared of the owner. He's not going to change. I think the owner is probably so intimidated by Dan Quinn that Dan Quinn could say whatever he wants. This particular situation is you think that Dan Quinn's going to listen to Josh Harris?
I don't think that Dan Quinn was, let's be honest, kind of lucky to get hired this cycle because if Ben Johnson wanted that job, I don't think Dan Quinn does get hired this cycle. And so, no, if I'm Dan Quinn, this is my second and probably last shot at being a head coach. I don't think I'm walking in like, hey, guys, hey, owner, go sit in the corner. Hell no. Everyone's got a boss.
This is a honeymoon stage where Josh Harris is not going to even try and say anything to these guys. He's probably terrified of Dan Quinn, who's actually quite scary. I understand that bald head.
Dan Quinn, he's like the nicest guy.
Scared of backwards caps?
Dan Quinn is super intense. You think that...
well, they're football
If you're a
people,
defensive player, I think...
intense.
Dan Quinn and Peters is awesome. I think this team, as an Eagles fan, I'm a little scared of what they got going. Because they really did well this offseason.
Well, you should be happy if the owner's in there making decisions because he doesn't know what's going on. 855-212-4CBS. One team at a major crossroads. Which way are they going to go? I'll tell you next. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Here we go. Hold on. This season, okay. This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute. This is Andrew Perloff with a CBS Sports Minute. 2 seasons ago, only one quarterback went in the first round of the NFL draft, Kenny Pickett at number 20. Last year was more normal with 3. This year, we could expect a quarterback explosion with at least 6 first-rounders, maybe even a record 7. Starting with USC's Caleb Williams, it's a deep group, and next year's class looks thin. It's March 1st. QBs always fly up the board closer to the actual draft. Okay, hold on. It's March 1st. QBs always fly up the board closer to the draft. This year, with veteran quarterback salaries exploding, expect teams to jump on the chance to get a talented player on a cheap rookie deal, starting right now. I'm Andrew Perloff.
Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute sponsored by Wrangler. Visit Wrangler.com for the best in denim. Wrangler, for the ride of life. This is Maggie Gray with a CBS Sports Minute sponsored by Wrangler. Visit Wrangler.com for the best in denim. Wrangler, for the ride of life. The New England Patriots are at a major crossroads, armed with the number 3 overall pick and a new head coach for the first time this millennium. There's 2 schools of thought on how the Pats should approach this offseason. They can pick a quarterback at 3, hope he develops into the true successor to Tom Brady and build around him. Or, believing you have a sizable rebuild in front of you, trade the pick to acquire more talent, emphasizing team over one player. If it was me, I would take the quarterback at 3, hoping I just answered the biggest question in front of me. I'm Maggie Gray.
One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's been on the TB12 method since he was 6. She's on her 3rd scotch. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Patriots at a major crossroads here. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. What do you do? There's like 2 different schools of thought here for what New England can do with the number 3 overall pick. You could do the obvious thing. Take a quarterback, Perloff.
Yes.
Or you could do something that I think we can probably just shorthand called the San Francisco method, if you will, which is
I
build
like it. I like
the
it.
best team possible, and then at some point get a quarterback who's a little bit more like a point guard to come in and distribute the ball to your playmakers. Which way do you think they should go?
It's a tricky spot. So last year, the Carolina Panthers took a quarterback when they were not ready to have a quarterback. Adam Thielen at 33 was their number one wide receiver, and it was a total disaster. The offensive line was bad, the receivers were bad, the coaching was bad, and Bryce Young was a complete failure. So I think if you're Robert Kraft, who owns the Patriots, you are saying to the team, that can't happen to us. So there's a great argument to be had not to take the quarterback there. Now, that being said, there's a lot of reporting coming out of Indy that they're taking the quarterback. But I think that they're going to take a quarterback. I think it's going to be rough.
See, I don't see them the same as Carolina from a year ago. We're talking about the Patriots who have the 3rd overall pick, so what are they going to do with it? I don't see them as Carolina. Carolina traded up for the number 1 pick. They mortgaged the future for Bryce Young. That just made everything seem so much worse and had to trade away their best receiver in DJ Moore. It's like they just got totally fleeced. That part of it made it so much worse. If I'm the Patriots, listen, I get the idea that you sometimes don't have a quarterback who's ready to step into a winning situation. Obviously not. If you're picking 3rd, that means a lot of things went wrong for your season. But in this day and age, even with the San Francisco model out there, you cannot pass on trying to get that quarterback, because once you get the quarterback, everything can fall into place, right? And even if he struggles in the first season, as long as it's not catastrophic where either his confidence gets completely busted or he actually gets really hurt, you can weather the storm of a first season, even if it looks bad, like Peyton Manning did, like so many great quarterbacks did. And I think you're going to be okay. This is the lie that all teams will tell themselves. We're never going to be picking this high again. And there's another part of this too, how you can make it better. If you're the Patriots and you take whoever's there for you at 3, Drake May or Jaden Daniels, that doesn't mean you have to start them week 1. Gosh, I hate when teams do this. This is why bridge quarterbacks exist. This is why you have options for the Jacoby Brissetts of the world who played in New England already. This is why you have bridge quarterbacks, so that they can start the first 7-10 games of the season and you can bring a guy along a little slower.
Yeah, I mean,
your boy Andy Dalton, he should have been starting those games in Carolina.
One thing about the Patriots, they'll definitely be back next year. Because either option, Drake May is a little raw, and Jaden Daniels will get destroyed. He's just going to get murdered on that team. And they're actually, they are the Panthers. They're even worse than the Panthers. Who are their receivers? They have no. I mean, that's the thing. That's why Tom Brady left in 2019. They haven't been able to draft a receiver since ever. So how is it? Give me the scenario where even if they bring in a veteran and they don't start these guys, like how do they win in a football game? I don't quite get it. And Jerod Mayo said yesterday at the Combine, we're not going to spend anything this offseason too. So they're in just total rebuild mode. It's going to be really ugly. I disagree with you in the fact that if a quarterback comes in and they go 3-14, I think that could be damaging.
Oh, I don't think so. Who's expecting the New England Patriots to be this like juggernaut? I know Robert Kraft wants to get back on the winning, but he understands you have a new head coach for the first time in a millennium. And you also have the number 3 overall pick. The team is bottomed out. So now you got to build it back the right way. But if the quarterback is there, that's the no-brainer to take them 1. And this is a very deep wide receiver draft. So you might end up getting a really great wideout in the 2nd round. Running backs are, I don't want to say easy to find, but generally they are. And they have Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not worried. If my biggest concerns are I need wide receivers and playmakers, I'm okay with that.
Honestly, I feel like it's going to be Jaden Daniels, and I feel bad for the dude. I just feel like this is not going to go well. I think they will draft a quarterback, and I think it's going to be a disaster. And 2 years later, we're going to be like, remember when you said it's okay if they're bad? Because he's going to be if he went to the right team, he'd be a superstar. And this is such a wrong team. It's cold. They have a defensive-minded head coach. Everything that could work against a quarterback is working against a quarterback in New England.
Maybe year 1, but
yeah, what's different with year 2? Where are these players going to come from?
Well, you do have pick 34. You have pick 68. So it's not like you don't have any other opportunities to try to get better.
But you have to fill out your entire roster. Their defense is really good, but they have holes too. There's problems all over this team.
Well, that's why they're picking third. They stink. So, but if I'm here and I have the opportunity to pick a quarterback, see, I don't like leaving things to chance when you have an opportunity in front of you, right? You can always say, oh, we'll wait till next year. We'll wait till next year. Well, you know what? Maybe next year's draft looks like the Kenny Pickett draft, where you have one quarterback who goes in the first round. Look at the teams who are tanking this year in the NBA. Congratulations. You're going to get maybe one of the worst drafts when last year you had the Wembanyama draft. Like, there is a timing aspect to this. And when you have the moment in front of you where you don't have to trade up, you don't have to move around, you don't have to manipulate, you can just take a quarterback at 3. Just do the obvious thing is not doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's why they're taking a quarterback.
Right, but that's not it's not. There are two schools of thought out there where they could also take Marvin Harrison and trade back, and they could get more picks, and they can start building the team.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting to me, go from 3 to 6, where the Giants would move up. I think that, how about this scenario? What if you trade from 3 to 6, get next year's Giants first-round pick, and then take your quarterback at 6?
Okay, but now you don't have one of the top 3 guys.
Yeah, but I'm not sure the top 3 guys are definitely better than the next 3 guys. So maybe you could get a different guy. I don't know. I just feel like if they take Drake May or Jaden Daniels at number 3, it's just going to be a tough year. And I think that matters. I don't think that they can just throw away this year and have their quarterback get battered. That's what I worry about.
I think they kind of find themselves a little bit in a Chargers situation. Remember the Chargers, the year that they drafted Burrow? You had Cincinnati had the number 1 pick, and then Miami had 5, and the Chargers had 6? Is that how it went? So Burrow was 1, and then the Chargers were sitting there and basically like, all right, we'll take whoever Miami doesn't take. You take Tua, we'll take Herbert. They take Herbert, we'll take Tua, and we're going to make the best of it. I kind of think that's what New England's doing. And to be honest, both ways can kind of work.
Yeah, we'll see. Say they do draft one of those quarterbacks. How many wins you give them next year?
Not many.
Yeah, I think it's going to be bad. I feel really bad for Gerard Mayo. I feel like the Patriots are going to be in the desert for a long time post Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And I love Gerard Mayo. He's such a great interview, and seems like such a nice guy. So different than Belichick. I want to see them do well. I worry if they take Drake May, it's just going to be bad. And if they take Jaden Daniels, EJ and I were talking about this before the show, that dude does not know how to avoid a hit. Yeah. And you're putting him on a bad team. Just seems like a really tenuous situation.
Never utter the words, I feel bad for the Patriots. All right? They had 20 years of an incredible run. They're good.
But Gerard Mayo is taking over from Bill Belichick. That's already hard.
Listen, it's always going to be hard to be the guy after the guy. He knows that. He's been in the building. Let's hear from Matt Miller. He's the draft scout. He was on your old show, Perloff, the Dan Patrick Show. He said he would not draft Drake May if he was the Patriots.
I would not take Drake May if I was the New England Patriots. They do not have the infrastructure for a developmental quarterback. Like you just said, you don't have a left tackle. You don't have a wide receiver. We don't even really know what this regime is going to look like right now. Everything is new. I don't think this is the year to draft a quarterback.
Man, I mean, just going to strong disagree there, just because how much easier does it make when you draft the guy if he has talent? It speeds everything up. I'm not saying you're going to be in the Super Bowl in 3 years. I'm just saying, look at Houston. I mean, things are falling into place now. You have guys who want to go play with C.J. Stroud because they see the talent.
Right, but they got C.J. Stroud was really good. I mean, it's a bit of a crapshoot with these top 3 guys, right? We don't know who's going to work out. It's 50-50. It could go either way.
But that's the risk I have to be willing to take because I realize how much things fall into place if I do get that guy. Also, Matt Miller is a very renowned draft analyst, says the Pats shouldn't worry about not being at the top of the draft again.
The arguments, you may never be up here again. That might be true. I've looked at that roster. I feel pretty good that they're going to be drafting early again. I think we're comfortable in 2025 New England. You're going to be up there again.
Yeah, but who's going to be available in the class next year? See,
well,
that's
you never know.
The part. Quinn Ewers or whatever.
So you get Shador, you get Quinn Ewers, but listen, every year is the same thing. Who knew Anthony Richardson last year? This year, who knew that Bo Nix was going to throw 50 touchdowns or whatever? Who knew that Penix was going to be this insane? Who knew? Actually, you didn't even really know. Jaden Daniels, no one had any idea he was a draft prospect. So I'm just saying a lot of things could happen. I'm with you. I think you laid out a really good case. You do have to draft the quarterback. And Jeff Howe, who's really dialed in, says they're taking a quarterback. So it does seem like that's going to happen. But I'm telling you, you think that it's okay to have it could be the Panthers 2.0. They could really be going down a terrible road.
So I feel like if I'm hearing you correctly, I kind of think you're not just predicting that this is not going to work with whatever quarterback they take. It's that this regime, like this is not going to work at all. Like, we're looking at a new Patriots head coach and coaching staff and everything in the next 4 years or something.
Yes, I think Gerard Mayo, they're screwing Gerard Mayo. He had to actually come out of the combine and walk back. We're going to spend in the offseason. I think they're going to be really bad. I just look at this roster, especially the receivers. Right now, it's Kendrick Bourne, Juju, Demario Douglas. They just have no weapons. How can you give Drake May nothing?
So here's a question. If you're going to be bad, and if you think the Patriots you're kind of implying if they're not going to spend money, that Robert Kraft is okay with them being bad, right?
I think he's okay with a old school rebuild, yes.
Then why don't you just keep Belichick and let him break the wins record as a member of the Patriots? If you're not super focused on kickstarting this thing in a new direction, just keep Belichick there.
I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe they don't have a solid plan. I mean, they hired Elliott Wolf, who's well thought of as a GM. Maybe he's going to be great, but it's going to take a lot of time. And that's a really, really good question because Kraft is not young either. Is he ready to sit there for a 4-year rebuild?
Listen, the only thing that Robert Kraft, I think, really wants at this point, because is he 80?
82,
82, something like that.
Yes.
I mean, he seems like he's doing well. Knock on wood. But
what do you think he
wants to get in the
wants?
Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's what he wants. Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame. I think he sees himself as the same. Eddie DeBartolo's in the Hall of Fame. He sees himself on the same level as these transformative owners, and I think he wants to get in the Hall. As far as another Super Bowl, I mean, geez, man, you got 6.
I mean, I think the Belichick, why they wouldn't keep Belichick, to me is rather simple. I think if Belichick is around, the expectations are different. Like this season, this Patriots season was such a disaster and such an embarrassment, in large part because Bill Belichick was at the head of it. Mm-hmm. It's like, how could a Bill Belichick team look this not talented, look this poorly coached, look this bad week to week? So if you get him out of there and you're in the middle of an old school rebuild, like Perloff said, you have a new coach, well, people next year say, okay, well, it's a new coach. We know they're trying to figure it out. We know they're trying to get this thing together.
So the fan base is not saying, oh my gosh,
and
look how bad.
Like you mentioned that, like Kraft is definitely a guy who's very conscious of his image around the league, and they looked like a clown show last year.
Right.
It's a lot easier
last 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. It's a lot easier to explain your clown show as saying, hey, we have a rookie coach and we're rebuilding this thing. He's got a long time to figure it out, as opposed to saying, I have the greatest coach of all time and we look like a clown show.
See, I kind of disagree with you a little bit too, Maggie. I think he desperately wants to show that he could win without Belichick.
Right, but again, like, it's not going to be quick.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's weird. That's why I don't understand really what the Patriots' game plan is. Why don't they, know what they should do? They just spend all the money this offseason, try and get really good around that quarterback. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. Trade for Devontae Adams. Trade for Justin Jefferson. Do something. You got to help this quarterback because otherwise it's going to be more 9-7 losses to the Giants. I'm telling you, this is scary times for New England.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Well, maybe everything that comes up must come down. Also coming up, I think I can only summarize what we're going to talk about next with one phrase. Kids today. Am I right? What are we doing to America's youth? 855-212-4CBS. We'll answer that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. Interesting debate. What should the New England Patriots do at number 3? If they take a quarterback, could it all go wrong? Yes, very probable. In fact, if you're drafting the top 3, you could end up getting a guy like Zach Wilson or Trey Lance. Because if the team's not good, it's hard to make the quarterback good. Maggie says they have no choice anyway.
Nah, you got to take the QB. Tim's in Arkansas has a thought. Good morning, Tim. What's up, sir?
Hey, good morning. Love the show. Thank you for taking the call, as always.
Appreciate it. What's on your mind?
I think the only generational talent behind Caleb Williams might be Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
And I wanted to see if that would be a good piece to build an offense around. And then kind of like what you said, I think it was Maggie, about the San Diego Chargers. Now, I know that they were a first-round pick, but you kind of wait around to see what you get and then work around that Marvin Harrison. So I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, so that would be the idea that you would trade back with the New York Giants or something from 3 to 6, and then whoever's there. See, okay, we talked about putting a quarterback who has nothing around them, no infrastructure, how bad that can be, what a waste of a pick that could be. Like, bring a good quarterback into a terrible situation. is there a bigger waste than bringing a good wide receiver into a bad situation? So Marvin Harrison's going to be catching passes from who exactly?
Yeah, it's like Devontae Adams, but a very young version of
Yes,
Devontae Adams and the Raiders.
There's no reason for Devontae Adams to be in Las Vegas right now.
Well, the funny thing, too, is there's all these rumors that Marvin Harrison might not be wide receiver one. It might be LSU's Malik Neighbors. Seems strange to me because we saw Marvin Harrison dominate, and he's gigantic, and his testing numbers will be through the roof. I have a scenario for you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Cardinals are at number 4, and there's a report they're open for business. That could be someone trading up for Marvin Harrison if the New England. But could we go 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterback? Because McCarthy and Penix are picking up a lot of steam too. That would be wild. And then Marvin Harrison falls back to the Giants at 6, possibly, or the Chargers at 5. There's a lot of teams that all of a sudden now their eyes are getting big. Maybe we could land Marvin Harrison. So I don't even know if New England needs to take him at 3. They, like you said, they could get him at 6.
Man, this is an awesome draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. How about the draft could go 1, 2, 3 quarterback and then 1, 2, 3 wide receiver?
I don't think that'll happen. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, these are the left tackles. I would watch out for Penix and McCarthy at 4. I'm telling you right now, quarterback. It's going to be a quarterback draft. I think you also, the other teams, like you get a Dunze at 10, 11, 12.
Who's actually throwing this weekend? So it's
the next 3.
So not Drake May, not Jaden Daniels, and not Caleb Williams. Thank you. I got a thumbs up from Bogusch. So the other guys.
Yes.
J.J. McCarthy, Penix, and Bo Nix.
Yes. And I think all those guys are running, and all those guys are going to be super fast. So that should be it's going to be a big weekend for the guys who are playing. I could throw at the combine. You're wearing shorts. You just hit a guy who's wide open. I'm telling you right now, there is about to be a firestorm of enthusiasm about J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix.
Nothing helps draft season more than quarterbacks. Like, draft season helps them so much.
Yeah. And Michael Pratt, too, is all of a sudden a hot. And Spencer Rattler. It's going to be quarterback. You know, we probably fool ourselves. The quarterbacks are going to go crazy this weekend. They throw on Saturday afternoon. We're going to make some chili, make the kids stand around and watch.
You really trick this out for the combine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what else what am I going to watch?
But like you're
It's
making
March
chili
2nd.
like it's a game.
Anything else?
It's not a game.
Yeah, watch. It's going to get 2 million people watching it.
I'll be watching.
Yeah.
I'm already deciding how am I going to watch this through my kids' gymnastics class.
The NFL is the king of making non-games into things that people watch on TV. There's no league who does it better.
Bogusch has some headlines for us. Hello.
Yeah. Maybe the most important headlines of the day. More points, more rebounds, more blocks, more assists, more steals, and a win. Gas up the Passat. Pearl and not me are going to San Antonio.
Into the front court, Jones racing left side. Waits for his teammates. Flick to Wemby. Long 3, Wembanyama. It's 122 to 113.
I swear, Victor Wembanyama played much better than it sounded on
Hurry,
Spurs radio.
That is appalling audio.
Yeah. I don't know how it even ended up in our system or how it existed in the first place, but there it is. 28 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 blocks, 2 steals, and San Antonio took down Oklahoma City 132-118. Chet Holmgren, a meaningless 23 points and 7 boards. Wemby feeling good post-game. Bally Sports, so emotional, San Antonio.
I missed it. I love it. I missed it. Enjoying the game and winning back from the road trip with more than 16,000 people that I love. Best feeling. Hey, tailgate, go Spurs, go. 1, 2, 3, go Spurs, go.
So he's a better cheerleader than Chet as well.
Man, I like this dude.
Mm-hmm. Now he's cursing, too?
He wants to win, although that's not really happening. See, this is why it's bad. So Perloff has a bet. He has to drive to San Antonio if Wemby wins Rookie of the Year to apologize to Wemby. He called him Wembust-Yama. Seemed a little harsh at the time. So here's the thing. It's not even about the wins and losses. The Spurs stink. They've had, 11 wins now? 12 wins.
That's 12.
They're awful. It was I'll distill it down for you like a Heisman moment. It was end of the game. Game still basically in the balance. A minute and a half left. Chet at the top of the key. Wemby playing defense on him. And Wemby blocks his shot without leaving his feet. And that's the Heisman moment, if you will. That's the Rookie of the Year moment for Wemby.
Not when Chet pump faked him and dunked on his head 3 times?
Well, the dunk was like not really on his head. It was like behind him a little bit. It wasn't a poster.
Okay, here's a couple questions about. We'll talk about Wemby for 1 second.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that he's the tallest player in the league and he wants to take 3-pointers and he's good at them? Isn't that a little weird?
No,
don't you
here's
want
the
your
thing.
big man down low like old school?
Okay, that game was a 1-point game with about 3.5 minutes left to go, and it was Wemby's 2 deep threes that were the difference.
Right, his best attribute is a 3-point shooter.
Right, because it's 2024. That's kind of the way the game is played these days.
When I was growing up, big man get down. Aren't you neutralizing your biggest advantage by going way outside like Porzingis? I feel like, I don't know. And the other thing, too, is he's a bit of a problem on defense. If you bring him out on a pick and roll, you could run right past him. He's amazing as a shot blocker.
Right.
So, anyway, yes, obviously Victor Wembanyama is very good. But I do not know, is he guaranteed, is he the next LeBron? That is now what we're talking about.
Well, no. There's
Hold
no
on 1 second. Let's not skip some steps.
Do not say that that's not his expectation.
No, but let's not skip steps on this show. On this show, it's whether he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Oh, I've lost that bet.
I love that now Bogusch is putting Perloff in a Volkswagen.
By the way, Passat is a very good car.
I had one.
I'd be thrilled to have a Passat.
I drove a Jetta. I did like it.
I don't understand. Okay, so I needed a big game out of Chet Holmgren last night, and the Thunder are 41-18. How do you lose to the 11? How do you have 132 points to the Spurs when they're not that good an offensive team? What happened here? Somebody fill me in.
Well, Wembanyama said no more.
Wembanyama scored 28. First of all, you guys should be rubbing in my face. He's really good in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of mills around. I've watched a lot of Wemby. It's not as complete as you guys think it is.
No.
It's complete enough.
And it's plenty better than you keep talking about.
He's definitely not a bust.
Well, you guys, okay, I was wrong. He's not a bust.
And that's why you're gassing up the cabriolet.
And again, the route that you have laid out between here and San Antonio, you probably should leave now to make sure you're there in time to apologize to him.
Circuitous.
I want him in a bigger car, though. I want him in a bigger car so we could put people in the car.
Right. Well, he said the Sprinter van. He would do it.
The magician and the
Andrea.
Yeah, get everyone in there.
Although we have a tarot card reader coming in at the top of the hour.
Get her in there, too.
Maybe Angela's up for something.
There you go.
Yeah, you know that Chicago is east of San Antonio, right? So that route makes perfect sense.
It doesn't.
Why not? Just drive straight to Chicago and go down.
That's not how things work.
But that's not how Google would tell you to go.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you save 45 minutes by going south. That's perfectly.
No. You're supposed to go through D.C. and then like Nashville and then go to San Antonio. If you're going to Chicago, you're basically going almost straight across and then down to the left.
You're going a little bit down from New York and over. It's not that crazy, guys. I mean,
it's pretty crazy.
It's not what did I say, efficient.
Because of traffic patterns? Is that what we're talking about here?
Compasses, general directions. Yeah, I mean, San Antonio is below us. Why would you start out by going across the country to Chicago?
At a certain point, you're going to have to go west, right?
Yeah, you are going west, but you could be going south at the same time.
Right.
Sort of, be a little more, again, efficient about this thing.
Okay.
We'll get you an atlas.
Yeah, I'm looking at Chicago right now. This path does not look. This path does not look bad.
Wait, here's a question. Bogusch, if somehow you do end up riding shotgun on this trip, are you good with directions? Are you a good wingman?
I'm good with the Waze app.
Well, everyone's good with the Waze app.
This is really bothering me.
What are you bringing to the table?
My personality.
Shining, sparkling personality.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
You just want to get away from your kids for a week. I understand.
No, I want to be your friend. Damn it. Look, Google Maps
can add
in
a
multiple
destination.
directions, and none of them even come close to Indiana, let alone Illinois or Chicago.
You guys are acting like I'm saying, let's go to Spokane, Washington, then go to.
If you're going to
San
Spokane,
Antonio.
you should go through Chicago, but you shouldn't go through Chicago to get to San Antonio.
Now you guys are just trying to find something to get because I don't care that I lost this bet. I'm psyched. I can't wait to get those breakfast tacos in San Antonio. Going through Chicago is not as insane. You're making it sound totally like a bizarre move. Chicago's dead in the middle of the country. That's why everybody goes through Chicago.
Well, when they fly, I don't know about driving. I'm trying to get this here with our Google Maps.
We should put a clock on it. He should have to do it within a certain time frame.
It's like you've never seen a map. You almost couldn't be going farther away from San Antonio by going to Chicago.
You're
he's
literally
right.
insane right now.
No, he's
No way.
Have you guys ever driven cross country? You always go through Chicago. That's how you drive cross country.
But when you're going to Texas,
When there were maybe 2 roads.
okay, I think I might have it here. So, all right. If you were going to drive from New York to San Antonio the way Google Maps would tell you, right, the most efficient way, it was going to be a 17-hour drive, I believe, straight.
27.
27-hour drive straight. If you add a Chicago, Illinois stop, now you're looking at 30 hours. So you added 3 hours.
Not exactly a huge deal on a 30-hour to 27.
I don't care about the hours or the mileage. I care about the logic of it. There's nothing about Chicago tells you it's in between here and San Antonio.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Except it technically is in between. I mean, it's
so then it's like all of Canada, and you wouldn't go
so
through
is
Quebec
Madison,
to get
Wisconsin,
this.
but you wouldn't do that. So he also, did you know this? It would only take you 9 days to get there by bicycle.
Oh, there you go.
Now that's
how we
the
should do
trick.
And then you really earn those breakfast
That's how
tacos.
we should do it. You got to
Or
ride
it'd
a
take
bike.
you a month to walk.
So
31 days exactly.
Is there a voting disparity? If the blowout is so significant, does that require
if
the
he's
bike
unanimous.
ride?
I mean,
Unanimous rookie of the year, you got a bicycle.
I guess I can't visit Chicago. Those 3 hours I need desperately.
No, you're right. I thought it'd be a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'm looking at a map, and Chicago is you just go a little bit south and you go west. You're saying you were totally weird. Canada is north, right?
No, you
So
see,
is Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago is
Chicago's
north of here.
Slightly.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm still going through Chicago.
All right, if you go through Chicago, we have to add a stop on your journey.
Besides Chicago?
Yes.
What else?
I got to think about that.
Okay.
Maybe Canada.
Canada. Oh, boy.
Go up through Canada.
The border's such a pain in the butt, though. You get stopped there for a while.
Oh, good content. We can get some video on it.
Any headlines today?
Oh, that's right. That's where we began, huh? So
Sports.
other NBA scores.
By the way, just a heads up, according to Google, this route has tolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just want to let you know.
You rode a
physical,
bike, you
mental,
wouldn't-
and monetary.
I just want to make sure you got some cash on you.
The Nuggets snapped Miami's 5-game win streak, 103-97, behind 30 from Michael Porter Jr. The Bucks on a 4-game run after a 111-99 win in Charlotte. Giannis had 24, 10 boards, and 5 assists. And once again, what a weekend coming for the Perloff daughters. Marathon combine viewing, but unfortunately for them, no coaches will be running the 40 in Indy. But if they did, CBS Sports asked those coaches who would have the fastest time among them.
Ooh, great question. I know it's not Andy Reid. I'm not. I'll put myself. I'm not running. I retired from running a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll say Raheem. Raheem's probably he's got the best chance, I think.
I'm going Sean McVay. McVay, he still thinks he's an athlete. He still works out. He's pulled his hamstring and his quad over the years.
I think Mike McDaniel, I think he might have a shot.
Mike McDaniel has no chance of beating Sean in the 40.
Have you ever seen Mike McDaniel run on the sideline?
His shoes are probably going to be too nice. Sean's going to open up that gate and get that stride going. He's going to wear Mike out early.
D'Amico's a recent player. Or maybe can I put D'Amico up there? I know he's a linebacker, but he played sideline to sideline.
You guys know all those voices, right? Okay, good. Plenty of suggestions there, but it feels like Minnesota's Kevin O'Connell is the unofficial winner.
I wouldn't sleep on Kevin O'Connell either. It looks like he can still run.
I don't know if my hamstrings would survive, but I would still give myself 40 yards to beat anybody out there.
So I have to tell you, Doug Peterson
Maybe Kevin O'Connell.
did indeed say it was you.
Did he really? And Doug's a quarterback guy. You know what? That makes me feel good.
I think the moral of the story is there's too many coaches who we can immediately disqualify from this competition.
No, I think, though, we're burying what we all really want to see, which is Andy Reid versus Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
I actually am not sure I want to see that.
Don't doubt them.
Oh, Pete, come on.
Why, the athleticism never leaves you?
They could have it. I mean, they could silently be fast runners.
Wait a minute, they would topple over. You see, their proportions aren't right now.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't totally rule them out.
For what?
Win a 40-yard dash
For
against
winning.
Mike McConnell.
Pete, I'll bike to San Antonio if Andy Reid wins the 40-yard dash among all NFL coaches
If
at the
he beats
combine.
Raheem Morris and who was it, D'Amico Ryans?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with Andy Reid against D'Amico Ryans.
I mean, that is the worst thing you've ever said.
And that's a bad take.
It's an unacceptable take.
I'm just saying, it's very possible.
It's going to be one of these workout warrior coaches, right? Like McVay, maybe Robert Saleh. These guys who are running the
nobody
steps.
say Saleh?
No one remembers
He
him.
runs stairs.
Yeah.
Run out of the stadium.
I know, yeah. He just keep running them and just leave you, never come back.
Run out of Florham Park.
Just find a seat and sit in it.
Yeah, I mean, he would be my pick.
He should take a bike to San Antonio.
He might be if the season goes bad.
Yeah, you can't pick Saleh because if you're going to pick Saleh, you got to pick Ryans, right? Former San Francisco, he's 5 years younger.
Yeah,
but he's got the punishment of playing in the NFL. Like he's
39. Wow.
Yeah, he's taking He's taking a beating.
Right. Those knees, the ankles.
Yeah, Robert Saleh, he didn't play in the NFL. That I understand. I don't think so. Right?
No.
Yeah. So he's just a ripped guy. He's just
it's
very
like McVay
fit.
too.
Yeah. But McVay's short, so he doesn't have those long. He doesn't have those long strides that I think
true.
Saleh would have.
I feel like also McVay's doing it for the look.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
He lives in LA.
But he's also insane. If you gave him, if there was a heads up on this, that's all he would be doing for the last 6 weeks. He'd show up like Ben Johnson to win the 40.
Yeah, the sprinter, not the offensive coordinator.
But I think we all kind of saw D'Amico Ryans running as a pro. I got to imagine he's a lot faster than these guys.
Yeah, I think so.
He's also, the most fit coach. I did see that this video ended. A lot of people like McVay, right?
Yeah, early the first clip, there's a lot of McVay suggestions.
I know, because he's like the Sean Hockley of coaches, like the first person you think of.
Right.
And he was he was fast as a kid, right? He was all-state Ohio college running quarterback guy. So, I don't know.
And we got some young dudes now. I mean, McDonald and Mayo are both younger than Ryans. I don't know anything about physically Mike McDonald, but
that's
Dave
true.
Canales,
maybe he can scoot.
Something like that.
Dave Canales is in shape.
Looks like he's in great shape.
He does.
This is can we make this happen?
They got to make this happen now.
You know when they do that photo of all the coaches together?
Yes.
Do it then.
Oh,
That's at the owners' meeting, right?
At the owners' meeting,
Right.
yeah.
They always look so tan and relaxed. Like it'd be great to just snap them out at me. All right, guys, line up on the goal line.
Someone gets a whistle, 2 by 2.
Have him running slacks. That's great.
Telling you, Andy Reid, that would not. Andy Reid versus Mike McCarthy. Who's coming with me?
When's the last time you think Andy Reid ran?
No, his hips are
The 80s?
in bad shape. He can barely walk, I imagine.
Yeah, like
Talking
Come
about
on.
running wins him.
Come on.
Come on, what? It's
Give him a
okay.
chance.
He can't run. That's fine.
He's also 65.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm just saying he's out of shape and he's 65. He's got some things working against
I
him.
mean, he couldn't run away from Kelsey when Kelsey was beating him up on the sideline.
He almost fell over.
He needed to run then.
Come on, please.
Pete, listen, we know that you feel 65, but it doesn't matter.
No, but he could be silently deceptive. I'm telling you.
He can't.
I'm
He's
telling
not
you
a
right
fart.
now.
It's not silent but deadly.
They say that his play sheet looks like the Cheesecake Factory menu because it's actually a Cheesecake Factory menu.
He'll be saving it for now, saving all his energy for the 40-yard dash.
All right, back to reality. The Athletics says.
I was looking at this. Remember when Kelsey bumped him? He was worried because of his new hip that he was going to fall over.
Yeah, right.
So it's not a great physical situation here.
Get ready. He's getting ready.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Caitlin Clark could have played one more year at Iowa, but since she has all the records now, she'll head for the WNBA draft instead. The Indiana Fever have the number 1 pick. On the men's side, number 17, St. Mary's cruising through Pepperdine, 83-57 for its 16th win in a row, and to clinch their first outright West Coast Conference regular season title since 2012. And from the NHL, the Bruins topped the Golden Knights 5-4. The Panthers LS the Canadiens 4-3 in a shootout. The Canucks losing to the Kings 5-1. So Boston and Florida jump Vancouver and the Idle Rangers for the most points in the NHL. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thank you so much. Again, kids today. We will get to some crazy stuff we heard yesterday from some of our finest young athletes. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff. Maggie is temporarily out of the studio. We're preparing something special for next segment. It involves the occult, the supernatural, the future. Get ready. We're going to have a tarot card reader coming up at 8 a.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, I'm just going to make Pete Bellotti even more angry by describing my upcoming road trip after Victor Wembanyama wins a Rookie of the Year and I lose a bet. So I've actually decided, tell me, Pete, and it seems like you really want to set the rules on this.
Yes, I do.
They get back to training camp in September. the Spurs do. So I have to go apologize to Victor Wembanyama in person.
Right.
So I'm going to make it a football road trip where I'm going to go basically see games all along the way, and I'm going to basically see Texas versus Georgia on October 19th in Austin as part of this trip. Are you cool with that?
Well, when are you starting this trip?
I was just telling Pete, Maggie, I can't start my road trip until September because Victor won't be back in town until the Spurs get back to training camp. So I'm going to make it sort of a apologize to Victor Wembanyama / football tour.
Starting September 1st?
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. I was talking with our tarot card reader.
we were just talking about the tarot.
Angela is here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you guys are going to love this woman. Like, you're so worried about, what the cards are going to tell you, that it's like this bad news or that somehow like people are going to rise from the dead or something, the occult. It's nothing like that.
I've had many tarot card readings. I know the deal. I just don't want. Sometimes I don't want to know the future.
And I've had many people rise from the dead to come after me. So
Well, it's almost Easter. It's that time of year.
That's
but
right.
I would say so. Maybe she'll give you some good news.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, there's a lot of good news in anybody's future right now. feels like
positive.
It's not. First of all, it has nothing to do with her. It's the cards, and generally, I've had a few of these. It doesn't always work out the way you want it.
So I was able to confirm that she's not a witch, although she said she could find us a witch if we do want one.
How'd you ask that question?
I said, "Are you a witch?"
Oh my God.
And she said, "No, I'm not a witch, but I can find you a witch if you like."
Did you guys know Wiccans in high school?
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had a Wiccan face, which is a witch. Same difference. I think the term witch gets a really bad rap anyway. It just means sort of a sort of priest of the earth. It's fine.
I kind of thought all some of the girls who are sort of goth, I guess, who were doing that a little bit in high school, were just kind of doing it for the look.
Feels like, Maggie, you don't really know a ton about the tarot card readers, astrology,
real life,
the supernatural. It feels like this is sort of an area where you've never let your mind go.
Yeah, I don't think I try to be kind of pragmatic. I sort of think life is how it is. However, I do have a ghost story, but that's really the only thing I've got.
Well, if you believe in ghosts, then why can't you believe in this?
Well, because I didn't believe in ghosts until this particular thing happened.
And maybe that would open your mind to this idea that there's more than what we can see, which is sort of the philosophy behind this, that there's sort of our obvious selves and there's another plane, if you will.
Okay, so also Angela, the tarot card reader, is here. She's going to read our cards at the top of the hour. If you want to watch, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. Now, she can get more into this than I will, but she said there is you have free will. So if you do get dealt a bad hand, no pun intended, there are things you can do to maybe change your fortune.
Oh, that's good. So it has a sort of utilitarian purpose.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Bogusch, you stormed in here. Hi.
I just can't get over now you going, she's not a witch because I asked her. You can't ask the witch if she's a witch, and then when she goes, no, believe her.
Oh. It's not a movie, Bogusch.
Wait.
No,
I just Maggie's should be totally proud of being a witch.
That's like asking the burglar if he stole something with a bag.
Maggie's lack of street smarts here. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was nice in Rochester. Nobody was out to get you. But
Rochester was like Paris.
You're just
where I'm from Binghamton.
Whistling, skipping your way through life like nothing bad's going to happen.
I grew up in a place where the sun doesn't shine from October to May. Believe me, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. It was no sunshine and no roses.
She's not a witch. She told me she wasn't. Oh, okay, good. Glad that's settled.
She said it so convincingly. You think she'd be a witch undercover?
Yeah, I think that's how most witches want to be. They don't. They don't want to
Salem. You don't have to hide.
Pounce on you at the end.
You're not gonna get. Yeah, it's like they're not gonna hang you.
She is very. She looks very reassuring. Yes, she looks very. I don't want to say grandmotherly, but she looks very sweet and caring.
No, she's too young to be a grandmother.
I think she could only give us good readings here.
Oh, I hope so.
I don't think it's up to her. If that death guard hits you. I don't actually know. The death card
doesn't. She's not a witch.
By death card, we could ask her. Doesn't always mean death either. It can mean many things. So I just feel like Maggie's a little confident about this reading. I think, and you're not an optimistic person. Like, don't you assume bad things are going to happen to you in the future?
Nothing she can tell me is something my head hasn't already rehearsed.
So you're just so negative that you're already sort of ensured that you're not going to get bad news because you assume something bad is going to happen anyway.
It's a force field. It's called being a Bills fan.
But see,
that's where you got it from.
But I feel somewhat similar. Like I have enough anxiety of my own. I don't need this lady giving me paper proof of it. That's
right.
why I don't want.
What if she does the opposite?
Then I'm not going to believe her.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. She said that sometimes men can be tough to crack.
What if she says, you will go on a long journey through Chicago and add 3 hours to a trip? 3 hours at a 30-hour trip. Like, oh, my God, how dare you?
I'll ask for winning lottery numbers.
I see breakfast tacos in your future. How about that? Then you'd be like, whoa.
Then we know she's a plant.
She's a big fan of the
All right,
show.
my trip is already shaping up to be awesome, which is going to make you even more jealous. We're going to the Red River Rivalry.
What city is that in?
It's in Dallas, October 12th. EJ, you in?
No, I've talked about that. That is the thing I want to go to.
Yep. That is
All right,
EJ's
EJ,
number
you're
one
in.
That's a
rivalry.
bucket list college
EJ, you're
football
in.
game.
Maggie, we'll see what the
Wait,
cards
EJ,
say. You're in.
hold on.
Bellotti,
Which
you're
side
in.
are you going to sit on? Because you can only
Oh,
be...
Texas. How come?
You're a Miami fan. That wasn't
I know.
obvious.
I know. I'm just definitely Texas. They're way cooler than Oklahoma. Sorry, Oklahoma fans.
I'll sit with the referees.
You're
a
not
good
going
time.
either, Pete. You know
sorry.
This has got really exciting. I really want to go to Red River Rivalry.
Okay, so now it's Perloff and EJ. I thought this was a solo mission for you, and that was the whole thing. And
No,
now
no, no,
Bogusch
no.
is really offended.
Well, actually, I was thinking about it.
Now he stormed in, and now he's storming out.
I never thought of going through Indy is a brilliant idea. So we could say hi to Pat McAfee. Then we go down to Chicago, see a bunch of friends there. Then Nashville.
Which Pat McAfee are you going to see? Him or the clone?
Then we go to Nashville and do a bachelorette party. And then we come down. We go to Dallas for the Red River Rivalry. I can't say it. San Antonio, get breakfast tacos. It's going to be, Maggie, you want in?
Wait, who's bachelorette? Just someone's?
That's what you do in Nashville. Just join a bachelorette party.
Oh, it's like, hey, it's Whitney's bachelorette.
Yeah.
And here's Perloff.
You'll get it done in 3 months.
This is not going to take that long. You don't want to come, Pete. You're not jealous of this.
No,
You have young kids at
I'm
home.
not jealous of it. I would. It would be a nice trip.
Any
Any trip would be a nice trip.
Maggie doesn't like long car rides.
I mean, I don't like long car rides, but you sold me at Red River Rivalry. Like, state fair and football.
Oh, how about this?
Did you eat a fried Oreo?
How about I drive?
Absolutely.
How about I drive down?
Fried butter?
Drive down, and you guys all fly down, and we do some shows down in Texas.
Now that I would do.
That
I would
sounds
100%
super
do
fun.
that.
Now you're speaking my
I'm
language.
sure the company will pick that up.
Is our travel budget going to cover all that?
Maybe Wembanyama himself. He's got plenty of money.
Yes, the person who called him Wen Bust Yama, I'm sure he's dying to put us up with the Four Seasons.
Once you start the wheels turning on road trip ideas, I mean, even Maggie, who doesn't like road, you got to admit they are tempting.
No, the idea of flying and meeting you guys there, now that's tempting for me.
Okay.
I
All right.
can't
That's
do the
something.
road trip.
That's something.
Well, just, I can't do it. I can't sit there. I don't love it.
Have you ever driven cross
boring.
country? You ever driven cross country?
No, my friends drove and I met them in Vegas and then went from Vegas, the last part, to LA.
Super fun. I like long road trips. And also, too, usually you do them when you're young, do them when you're old, get away from the family. This all sounds amazing. That means no childcare for a week and a half.
I kind of feel like America sort of looks the same. We're starting to look alike, you know. And that's why I love certain cities that have the really distinct, because we all have these commonalities of living in America, right?
Yeah.
If you're just on the highway,
like strip
Maybe
mall
I'm
stuff.
wrong.
Maybe
Yeah.
we go. How about this? We go through New Orleans. I know you love that town.
I do love that town.
Yeah, Big Easy.
Nice.
Come on.
Okay.
Everyone but Bogusch.
Angela, the tarot card reader, is here.
She's coming too.
She's in studio. She's going to tell our futures next. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's the reigning Fortnite champion. She's a Call of Duty legend. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
All right, how did we get here? Well, that doesn't matter. The fact that we're here is what's important, Perloff, and that is Angela is a tarot card reader from right here in New York City, and she has agreed to come in and help us out because, well, I got my tarot card fortune, I guess, read recently, and quite frankly, I was like, all right, no big deal.
Yeah. I think you are underestimating what's going on here, and I'm curious to see, you were at a party, and maybe that reading went well, but I'm telling you, I've had several tarot card readings. I think you could have a more impactful reading.
Okay.
I'm pretty convinced of that fact. I think we're going to walk out of here today, and you're going to have a completely different view.
All right. Well, Angela, thank you so much for joining us and coming to meet us this morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your background. How do you get into tarot card reading?
I had a roommate in college at Colgate University who encouraged me to have a tarot reading. When I went to London on my semester abroad, I had a reading, found it very helpful. And when I came back to New York City, I regularly had readings. One day, I'm an English literature major, was looking at the cards, wanted to know what the symbols meant, and I bought myself a deck and a book, and I just slowly taught myself how to read. And then slowly started doing it professionally.
Okay, so what do you hope to provide for people with something like with tarot card reading? Like, what do you want the person sitting across from you to get?
Guidance. When you ask a question of me, I want you to see what's going on with your situation. Sometimes you're so emotional that your vision is clouded. And so a tarot reading can very often clear up the situation for you. Also give you some guidance as to how to correct your situation if you're open to it.
Okay, you just told me, and Angela, the tarot card reader, is here. EJ, when he found out I got a tarot card reading, was just like, not for me. So, some people are scared of this, right?
I do find, and I'm not being sexist here, that men are a little more afraid of tarot card readings than women.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll be doing a party and the man will like say, oh, no. And I'm like, well, why not? He says, well, what if, and he'll tell his wife, what if she tells me I'm going to die?
Yeah.
What if I can't control it?
See, it seems like reasonable things. I don't know.
Men are smarter in this particular regard.
But I mean, unless you ask me a question like, am I going to die? It's probably not going to come up.
Wait, hold on. But we already know the answer to that. We're all going to die someday.
Yeah, and I do say that to people. I said, what if I said, you're going to die?
You don't even need the cards.
Let's get that out of the way.
Now, the weird thing would be if the cards were like, you're going to live forever.
Yes, wouldn't that be cool? Like on X-Files, when Gillian Anderson is like, she's told that she's never going to die.
Wow.
It's so great, yeah.
Angela, how specific can you get with your questions?
Your questions can be as specific, yes, no, very specific, or it can be quite broad, such as, what's my love life like? What's my business life like? Of course, no one ever asks about their love life, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No women never ask you about their love life, I'm sure.
And it can be any question that you have. So,
all right. Well, I guess
anything that you need help, something that's preferably at the top of your mind that you need a little help with.
Okay, so Angela is here. You could look her up. She's on Instagram at Tarot Card Reader Angela Lucy, right? Am I get that all right? Tarot Card Reader Angela Lucy. You can find her there. I'm sure you could reach out if you want a reading or something like that.
I'm easy to find.
Guidance or advice, Angela Lucy, the Tarot Card Reader. All right, so we're going to do this quick. You're going to read my cards, and Perloff and EJ, we're going to keep this thing moving. So let's do it.
Okay. And Maggie, you're first, apparently?
I'm first. I'm first because I'm the one who's totally cool with this. I take it as a grain of salt. I think it's like reading a horoscope.
I don't want you to think it's written in stone. You have free will. Free will is the most powerful source in the universe, and even the angels can't mess with it, so you can change the outcome.
Like the angels?
Even the angels.
Uh-oh.
They can't mess with it. You're free to screw up everything.
There are angels around?
Even the Anaheim Angels can't.
Anaheim Angels.
Not the sports angels.
They don't got Otani anymore.
There was
They're not
a
messing
movie
with nothing.
about that, right? Angels in the outfield.
Yeah.
Let's not read the horoscope for the Anaheim Angels. It's not going to be looking good. Okay, so what do you need from me?
Okay, I'm going to ask you to shuffle the cards and think of a question.
Okay.
And just keep the pictures in the same way as they are. And think of your question, hand it back to me, and then ask your question.
Okay.
Very simple.
Now, I got a little advice about this on social media.
Yeah, not upside down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I messed it up already. Oh, shuffle like that. Got it. I went all blackjack dealer on the card.
No, it's cool.
So I did get this one question. Someone suggested that I ask this question.
Okay, great.
On social media. Yes.
All right, Ms. Maggie, what is your question?
Will the Buffalo Bills ever win the Super Bowl?
Define ever.
In the next 5 years.
Okay, the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Poor Bills. Okay.
Thank you. The tarot card reader knows the Bills' history.
Well,
she's from upstate.
I think 50 would have been a better number of years.
I'm afraid I get a disappointing answer for you. This is the Two of Swords. They're still waiting for their time. So I'm getting a no on that in the next
Why
round.
Why does Two of Swords mean that?
Well, to me, I use the two. And this also is them kind of, waiting for things to happen. They could be a little, I know they're trying really hard. They could be a little more proactive somehow. But this is also two is only 20% chance. So that's just kind of how I read it. And very low energy with the Two of Swords cards.
Maggie, you can't be surprised, but you look shocked.
I'm
What are you talking
terribly
about?
sorry. Let's ask how the Buffalo Bills can improve. Can we ask that?
I think free agency, but sure. I can't believe the first card that gets drawn. We're 20 seconds into this thing, and the Bills are losers.
Wait, what are you talking about? You've been I think we would have told Angela to walk away. She said the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, but there's no way that's
Absolutely,
happening.
yeah.
They've gone 45 years without winning one. What if all of a sudden next 5 years they're going to win one?
They were last season's preseason favorite. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know this sounds strange.
Yeah.
But it seems as though there's a woman that's interfering here. It could be one of the.
I know what's happening.
Not Haley.
Hawkeye herself.
It's a black-haired woman.
Oh!
Wait a minute. And she's operating behind the scenes somehow.
Oh, everyone's worried about Taylor Swift. It's Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld.
And
She's the Yoko Ono of the Bills.
And I get that she is somehow causing like emotional impoverishment. It's like some kind of drain.
There's you want to know what's kind of weird? So I actually had a tarot card reading last week, and that's what I got 2 of those same cards last week. I got the swords and I got the people going by the church. Okay, there's another read on this just quickly, and we'll get to Perloff and EJ. I think I actually know the real person. It's not Haley.
Okay.
It's Kim Pagula. Who was the real mastermind behind the scenes, and unfortunately the owner's wife, who was very influential, and she's been sick. So it's not that she is interfering, it's that she's been sick and the team really looked to her. And I think she was one of the big leaders of the team in personnel and coaching hires. I think she was really involved.
Yeah, this is definitely someone who's behind the scenes, because this is the High Priestess card, which means can even mean meditation, but something hidden, something
there you go.
The scenes.
I think that's it.
I like the Steinfeld theory much better than that.
Haley Steinfeld is ruining the Bills. Oh,
I know
no.
who that is.
Okay, well, all right.
Okay,
I mean,
all right. I hope that was helpful to the Bills.
All right, Perloff's up next. Let's.
Okay, so let's pass the cards over, and just don't turn them upside down from one another. And
Okay.
you can look. It's not a poker deck. You can look at the cards.
Again, Angela Lucy is in here. She's reading tarot cards for us today. Perloff and EJ very nervous about this, like sweating this out. You can actually find Angela on Instagram is probably the best way.
It's easiest.
Okay, tarot card reader Angela Lucy, if you would like. And I'm sure you could do this over the phone, over Zoom.
Phone, Zoom, at a party, at events. You name it, I can do it.
Here you go,
fantastic. Okay, I'm going to give these cards. Perloff shuffle them and give them back to Angela.
Okay, Andrew, what is your question?
Well, I have actually a scenario. Can I give you a scenario, or do I formulate a question? So we have a problem. I live in New York City, and the schools are not good. So we're thinking about moving to New Jersey. Should we move to New Jersey?
I think that's a great question. Okay, so as far as schools and your family's happiness and school situation, we'll do a what if. What if you stay in New York City, and what if you move to New Jersey?
Oh, that would be incredibly helpful.
Okay, I like to do what ifs, because remember, you have free will. So
yes.
Honestly, I really thought you were going to do something about Joel Embiid's knee. This is a real departure.
Okay. You have a small child?
13 and 11.
Yeah.
11, yeah, she's kind of small.
I don't see it improving.
By staying there.
First of all, sorry, New York City. New York City, I see, especially you are concerned about the smaller one, who I guess more formative years.
Yes.
Okay. And I get you here's the worry card. So yes, I get you're concerned about this.
Big time.
And it's going to stay the way it is unless you do something severe, like enroll them in a big private school or something. Because I know, and I get I know how much it costs. Get
that wallet off, Perloff.
Do you have any? Can you read
this is the
Perloff
judgment card? Like you can raise it up to a higher level, but you're gonna have to step it up. Okay.
So do you see Perloff winning the lottery in any of those cards to pay for this
no
private
lottery
school?
Win here.
So maybe it's possible that could mean a radical change, and I could join Maggie out in New Jersey.
I love this card. It's called the Judgment card,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean judging you. It means Judgment Day. So it's more like raising, like in the Bible, raising from the grave and going up to heaven in Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to level change up if you want things to work. And actually, if it looks to me like it would get so bad, you'd have to.
High five, Jersey, baby. Come join me in the suburbs.
Jersey. Let's see how Jersey will be.
I guess you could move to Connecticut.
I feel like you were spying on my conversation with my wife last night. So, all right.
It seems like you're hesitant because
I'm very
you're waiting.
hesitant.
Yeah, I get the Four of Swords, which is like the waiting card. And you're waiting for the nice opportunity or whatever.
Well, Maggie keeps saying there's no inventory out there. Anyway,
tough market.
Do you get a lot of people? Should I move is probably a very common question.
And actually, I kind of hate that question. Am I going to move? I hate the question, but it's like, what would happen if? It's a much better question.
Oh, I see.
It's like, no, the moving van isn't coming up and flying in the window and moving you. You have to be proactive. So, but actually, I see you may be finding something, but I do think you have to travel there a little, several trips, to go, obviously. But this is the little traveling card, the short trips. We're going to go there in the week. Maybe you take a summer house or something on the Jersey Shore or something like that where you ease yourself into it.
Ooh, Can I come to your summer house?
Yeah, really. Get a nice Jersey Shore. And then I get the Four of Pentacles. You will find something that's affordable. But it takes a little.
Yes, that's great.
But it takes acceptable boundaries. But it's going to take a little traveling and looking.
Perloff, this is the best reading you've ever had.
Yeah, but let me see about the kids in the school.
Well, actually,
no problem with the kids in the school.
Okay.
Your problems are over. So you find, because I think the reason you find out the school district before you go. So you find
honestly,
out this right one.
Angela, my preferred reading would have been the New York City schools are going to work out great. But I'm also a realist. I'm also a realist because I'm like many people. I don't love change.
Who does? It's like once you do it, then after you do it, it's like, why would I wait so long?
Yeah.
Oh, that happens to me everything in life. Yeah. I'm always like I don't want to change. I don't want to change. Like, oh my gosh.
When you're taking a vacation, it's like, oh God, I have to take a week off, and now I have to pack. Now I have to go to the airport, and you get there, it's like, oh my God, I should have gone here 10 years ago.
And I don't want to come back. Exactly. You know me too well.
Okay. Clearly, that's the card. All right, EJ, who is very anti-tarot card.
I've heard.
We're doing this against his free will.
Yeah, there's no way this is going to end well.
I'm
going to not ask about the Knicks because I know for a fact that won't go well. So I'm going to.
They were doing better, though, weren't they? I mean, even I know
that. And then everyone got hurt. So I'm going to.
Oh, everyone got hurt? That's what happened? Oh.
Yes. So, I think I know the future of how the season's going to end. So I'm going to hope that that's not the case. I'm going to pass that.
Okay, but you were thinking about your question, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I'm thinking about my question.
Do you
it is
get
basketball related, though?
Like athletes, actors, people like that coming to you to see?
I do have a few.
A lot of entertainers.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, so I've had a rash of injuries. I used to play basketball regularly. Like I used to play every day. I played in high school, but then I had a rash of injuries, and I haven't been able to play in a while. And I want to get back into shape. And one of the things I want to do is go back to playing basketball full time.
Okay.
But I have bad shoulders, bad knees.
Yeah, you're concerned.
Is this something I should do, or what will happen if I go back to playing full time?
Let's see what will happen if you go back and you're thinking of starting this like imminently.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. All right. Elijah going back to play basketball.
Yes.
Yeah. Upon the highest positive forces, tell me with this reading. So maybe you're channeling the Knicks injuries.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't have asked this question.
You're OG Anunoby.
You need to start slow.
Start slow.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I accidentally put this card upside down, which I don't usually do. It even looks like basketballs to me, the pentacles.
Oh, wow.
And I got it upside down like this. So I want you to start really slow.
Okay.
Pretend you're learning how to play basketball. You know what I mean? Because it's like this is upside down. So I don't want you tripping, or anything like that. So start slow. Okay, that's
smart.
What I'm saying. Because they're warning you. Just don't. You're not.
Oh, it knows I'm about to tear an ACL if I
you're
go
not
back out there.
to as well as you're doing. You have to start slow.
Okay.
But yeah, you're able to do it. The Ace of Swords. Once you get into the groove, you're going to feel a lot better, and I even get your emotions like improving. Like your mood changes. It's like you're much more clear, and you're clearer at work. You're clearer everywhere. It just makes you feel happier. Because I get the Ace of Swords, a lot of clarity coming in.
Wow. Again, Angela, the tarot card reader, is in studio. She's reading EJ's tarot cards now. Sorry.
Yes. And I also get you continuing to play without. I don't see any injury, but I need you to start slowly. Okay. Don't trip. I know this sounds stupid, and I'm sure you're a good basketball player. I see you tripping over the ball. Okay.
Trust me, my high school coach told me that often was why I rode the bench for 4 years.
And it's like boom, and so start slowly. And then the outcome card, you're a little nervous about it, I think, because I know you are, because this Fool card is the outcome card. It is going to take a little bit of a leap of faith for you. Because you're scared you're going to hurt yourself again.
Yes, very scared.
Fool card is arguably the most powerful card in the whole deck. This is the leap of faith. I'm going to jump off this, but it's the only way you can create miracles. So it's like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade when he has to jump off that cliff to get the Holy Grail, but he doesn't see any visible means of support. But he gets the Holy Grail. Okay, if he built a bridge, or he hiked down and around, or got his lasso to do something, he would get to the other side to get the Holy Grail, but it wouldn't be there. He wouldn't get the magic part.
Okay.
So this is you like having to face some fears. So and it has to be scary.
It is very scary.
I mean, know.
Someone who's dislocated their shoulder 3 times.
But I mean,
it's very scary.
don't trip over the ball.
That's funny. They're calling you E-No-J, which was your nickname around here, but that's probably going to change if EJ's getting back to basketball.
Yeah, it's a little scary. And then I see you continuing to do it for years. This is you planning for the future. Yeah.
Wow.
Once you get going. Yeah. It's not.
Okay,
I don't get
so-
any more big injuries.
Is anyone curious how EJ keeps hurting his shoulder playing basketball, which is famous for knee injuries?
Well, once it was football.
What are you doing, dude?
It started with football, and then it became basketball.
An old football injury makes more sense.
Because you look more like a football player.
Thank you.
Think about what happened here today, right? I came in and I was like, guys, come on. Nothing bad can happen. You both came in and you were scared. You were apprehensive, all of that. I find out that the Bills are doomed in the first 20 seconds of the tarot card reading, and all this fandom is worth nothing. Perloff's going to be moving to Jersey. His life's going to go great.
He's got a summer house.
It's going to be awesome, and he's got a shore house. And EJ's going to be back to, hooping in New York City, and he's going to be great, and it's going to bring him clarity at work.
You totally wasted your question, Maggie. Are the Bills going to win the Super Bowl? You might as well ask, is it going to snow in Hawaii? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
She
What
gave
a
it
dumb
5 years,
question.
though. She gave it 5
years. Right, 5 years? If she said maybe 55, maybe 500. 5 years? What?
All right. Well, you know what I think we should do? Before Perloff goes on the road trip to San Antonio, maybe Angela could come back and set up, Perloff's going to be venturing on a big road trip, we think, in the fall.
Yeah.
So maybe we could bring Angela back to kind of see what awaits you.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's one guy here who desperately wants to come who I don't want to come, and I could ask, should I bring this person with me?
That's another great question.
Can I come?
It's pathetic.
This has been a delight. Thank you so much.
Great.
Again, if you want to find Angela, tarot card reader Angela Lucy is on Instagram. You can look her up. She's here for you. And again, thank you for lending your expertise in this area to our show today.
My pleasure, Maggie.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you.
Joy reading for all of you.
Awesome.
Great.
We love it. And are you guys, can you give up your fear of tarot cards?
No, because we ask questions. Trust me, Maggie, I've seen this go very wrong.
I mean, I thought it would go bad just 5 minutes ago when you asked about the Bills.
Yeah. Actually, joke's on me.
Yeah.
Isn't it always? Okay, last thing, sorry, really quickly, Andrew. So I said that I don't believe, okay. I don't know if I believe in witches.
There are witches. I am not one.
See? Thank you.
Oh,
they
yeah,
thought
no,
it was
I
uncouth
can-
if I asked you if you were a witch. You can't ask a witch if she's a witch.
Witches will tell you.
Yeah, witches are like a religion.
Yeah.
So, a
it's-
spiritual
it
practice.
there are different ways that Wiccans are
Right.
a little bit more white magic. There are people absolutely that practice dark. You have to have dark if you're going to have light. Right. So it's just a choice that I don't choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you consider tarot card reading a sort of a spiritual activity?
I consider, yes, the way I do it, yes. But other people do it different ways. But I consider it a way to tap into everyone's intuition. Anyone can be a tarot card reader, but you just have to practice. It's about, I always say, short answer, you have to get out of the way of the cards. The cards have to talk to you.
Right.
So, yeah, but I do think everyone can do it. People ask me, when did you get your gift? And it's like, I have a gift, but everybody does. I just practice more. It's like if you worked in a perfume factory and you knew all the scents. Oh, that's a rose. Oh, that's a daisy. That's jasmine. You and I would struggle a little bit.
Right.
But those people just, oh, yeah, that's this.
If you were like, I'm not a witch, but I can put you in touch with somebody.
Sure.
What do people need witches for?
Spells, doing work. They may do other things too. I'm not one. So, but I know this very nice one.
You can
but-
cast a spell
yeah.
on someone? That's a real thing?
Oh, yeah. Voodoo is, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Okay. How would you know if someone casts a spell on you? I know I'm asking about something you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as people come to me all the time, I think some unscrupulous readers sometimes tell them that they have spells on them. And so they come to me, oh my God, I heard that I have a spell. And so I actually check with the cards and make sure that nobody's doing any work on them. They call it work.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes people will call me up and say, I want to get my husband back. And I'm like, I don't do work. And, that's not what I do.
Got it.
Because that's interfering with people's free will.
Sure.
No, you don't want to do that.
Right. Absolutely.
Because it comes back to you 3 times 3. Not to mention you shouldn't do it, but no, you're not going to get a good I don't think you're going to get a good result on that.
Yeah, don't bring that cheating
Yeah.
fool back into your life.
Dump him.
Yeah.
Dump him.
Yeah, we'll see what the cards bring for the next your next great romance. Again, Angela, tarot card reader Angela Lucy on Instagram. If you want to find her, you can. This was great. Thank you so much. And by the way, you have lovely energy. So I don't know if people tell you that a lot.
Thank you for saying so.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, coming up, we've got some big time changes that are coming to the NFL. Are they for the better? Are they for the worse? We're going to tell you next. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, we learned a lot in the last segment of Maggie and Perloff. We had a tarot card reader on. I'm moving to Jersey. EJ is returning to the basketball court, making a triumphant return. And Maggie found out the Bills are not going to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
When I say found out, I'm going to use that term loosely because you should have known. I mean, I think at this point, you'd be used to this.
I know, but the reason why I thought was the most fascinating thing, and Angela Lucy was here reading our tarot cards, and I asked if the Bills will win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years, and she said no, but what the cards showed is that there is a dark-haired woman who's working behind the scenes and making this difficult. And we all thought at first, Haley Steinfeld, right? Yoko Ono, she's Josh Allen's girlfriend. She's going to bring this all down. But no, I do think it's probably Kim Pegula who, ever since she stepped away, it does feel like there has been something missing with the team. And she, I think, was a force for good. But she unfortunately had a heart issue and is working her way back.
I think it should have been a man with dark hair named Patrick Mahomes. If the card was more accurate. Anyway, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great. Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines. Good morning, Bogusch. I realized you just texted me. Kim Pegula has dark hair.
Yeah, right away when she said it. And I did for a second begin with Haley Steinfeld, but then I remembered Kim, and I wasn't even thinking about the specifics of her health, just that she is far more, it would seem, involved and connected to Bill's success than Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, but it's a much better headline to say it's Haley Steinfeld's fault.
I know.
Tarot card reader says Josh Allen's girlfriend / Oscar nominee Haley Steinfeld is responsible for the breakup, for the Bills' lack of success. Well,
let's add another name to the list of people who would run the 40 faster than Andy Reid.
24 years ago, I ran a 5.28 40-yard dash.
Clocks were different back then, right? Like things were just a little slower. It was a daylight savings thing.
This is not the true measure of a man. Okay, let me just get that straight. I'm working out today, and I know we're going to shoot some photos and videos. If we have some extra time, maybe, just maybe, we give the 40 one more shot. Let's see if we can level up.
You know that voice. It's Tom Brady. He needs your attention. It's been too long. I'm going to run fast, and now sit back and listen to Tom run the 40.
G, you good? Let's do it. Tom, on you. Yo. Come on, go, 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 go. Oh, baby! 518. 512 on the second one.
You talking?
If you do that 25 years ago, you get drafted.
That was fun. Next year, it's going to be faster.
Oh, great. We're going to do it again. All of that from Brady's social channels. Now, to pull the curtain really back here, this clip, I hear the F word twice, unbleeped. 2 other curses, they bleeped. I don't know why the F word was allowed to go through this, but BS wasn't allowed. But I thought maybe EJ was trying to sabotage me by sneaking a curse word into a clip so I would play it.
I was wondering what was happening there. I thought it was hard to hear the words.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Didn't you hear it? They were just saying, oh.
I thought I heard the S word too.
Well, they bleeped that out.
Oh, okay.
Your mind just filled in the blank.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? Yeah, I couldn't tell what was going on.
It was odd.
Let's also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Let's pull back the curtain for real.
Okay.
In that there's no chance that these guys were right on their stopwatches.
Well, they did overlay Combine Brady when he was goofy to current Brady, and current Brady, air quotes, wins.
I know, but can't they manipulate that? I believe nothing in the age of AI.
But you saw the old Brady was running all sort of all over the place. He looked like a baby giraffe. This current Brady's form is much better. So I could actually believe it. He was, I was watching, he ran like you, completely straight up back in 2000. He ran a terrible 40.
I mean, here's the thing. They have to so much would be riding on this, right? Brady's trying to sell longevity, being healthy into your 40s and 50s and 60s.
And his new energy drink, right? That No Bull on the Combine shirts, that's his thing, isn't it?
Well, No Bull is a apparel company.
Yeah, but isn't he involved in that?
I was wondering, like, how did they get Brady to sell out? They gave him the number 2 shareholder in the entire company is now Brady.
Yeah, No Bull and TB12 merged to one company.
And the guy who owns No Bull is Mike Rapoli, right?
Yes.
Who started
Vitamin Water.
It's amazing, by the way. No Bull owning this combine. Like, I never heard of No Bull until last year's combine.
Same.
Now it seems like a brand. Have you seen their shoes?
No.
I have no idea. They're very plain looking, as I recall. But Tom Brady, I think that this is a great partnership. Like, he sold me some No Bull shoes with this. I'm a sucker.
Wow. I just, if I was there and I was holding the stopwatch for Brady, I'd probably start it a little late too, is what I'm saying.
I think that based on the form, I would not be surprised if this was legit. And also, what do you get, a 5?
Yeah, it's still not fast.
Rich Eisen runs like a 5.9.
Yeah, it's just faster than it was. And it's not, listen, it's illogical that Andy Reid could win a 40-yard dash. It's not impossible that Tom Brady's better now than he was at 22.
That's true.
You will give me that Tom Brady's in way better shape now.
Way better. And knows how to run, like you said.
Yes. In fact, Tom Brady's probably in better shape than he was as a player right now because he stopped doing all that pliability crap and started doing some weightlifting.
Wait, we had a caller earlier today who had an idea for the Pittsburgh Steelers that they should call Matt Ryan out of retirement.
Yeah. 38 years old. He'd be like the 5th oldest quarter. There are 5 older quarterbacks.
He just spent an entire season in the broadcast booth next to our friend Tiki Barber.
Yeah.
Why aren't we talking about Brady coming back?
He's 46.
But he's running the 40 faster than when he was 22.
Yeah. Good point. 46. He turns 47 this offseason. I don't know. It feels like Brady's enjoying. I think Matt Ryan really wanted to come back. In fact, wasn't that reported? He tried to come back. I think 38 and 46 are a lot different.
I think that Brady, these things get him going, any kind of competition. This dude is nuts. He's not built like everyone else. Anyway.
Yeah, but now he wants to be the best Tony Romo. So he's talking to Tony Romo about being on TV.
Yes.
I think he's done with football.
Getting advice from Tony Romo is the worst advice he got. Sorry, Tony.
The real headlines this morning: Spurs 132, Thunder 118. Wembanyama 28 points, 13 boards, 5 blocks. Chet Holmgren 23-7 and 1. So maybe Chet should have to drive with Perloff to San Antonio as well.
Gonna need a bigger car for that.
We'll just cut the top off.
Need a bus.
Oh my God.
In different times, LeBron and/or Anthony Davis might have sat out last night's visit from the Wizards after their fourth quarter heroics on Wednesday, but it's crunch time, so both leading Lakers out there against the Wiz.
D'Angelo dribbles left. Bounce pass. LeBron to AD. Slam dunk. Lakers by 2. 133-131.
John Ireland, Lakers radio.
Oh, they played. Oh.
Davis scored 40. LeBron had 31 and 9 helpers. The Lakers fought off Washington 134-131 in overtime. The Wizards on a 13-game skid. Their last win was in January. It's March 1st. Oof. They are now an NBA worst 9-50.
All right.
Better, they're worse than the Pistons. My Pistons, who are red hot.
Pistons play again.
Maggie and I are really invested in the Lakers and the Warriors. We got the old NBA teams are making their runs right now. The Lakers beat the Clippers.
They're almost
the Warriors
in the
are
West.
red hot. I'm telling you. I think that we're kind of into this, and I looked at the standings there. I'm like, ooh, the Warriors are winning a lot. The Lakers are winning a lot. They're still 10-9.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
They haven't moved.
Come on.
They'd be number 1 in the East the way they've been playing lately, and now they kick out those last 2 spots in the West.
Sorry, it's really setting in what she just told me. Our tarot card reader just left.
Wait, so now you believe her? Because it was about the Bills?
Yes.
Man, it's really setting in. Shoot.
You better take that Ryan Hickey trade. Take that trade Josh Allen. Take that number 1 pick.
She said the Bills aren't going to win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. It's really starting to sink in.
The first lady said you had a crossroads in your life. You need to figure things out. You went, And now she goes, the Bills are going to continue to be the Bills, and you're heartbroken?
I am devastated.
That is devastating. If you've been in the playoffs every year, knocking on the doorstep, and you hear next 5 years, no Super Bowl, that means McDermott's gone. That means Bean is gone.
Okay, now here's I did say win. just getting there would
No,
also
no,
be.
this is a Perloff
Oh,
move
not for
here.
you guys. No, you're the last franchise that can be talking about if we get there, it's okay. Absolutely not.
But again, your initial reading could have been like marital problems, work problems, and you brushed it off, and now you're spooked by a Bills.
Listen, my husband and I are cool. We just got a new morning
You
show.
think so?
Like, knock on wood, life is good. And now, but it's of course, it's the Bills. Shoot. Why did I ask that question? I'd rather not know.
I was stunned that you asked that question. I'll be honest. Stunned.
What else is there? What else could I have asked?
Anything in your personal life. I mean, we
who
talked to
cares
Angela
about my
before. Said
personal life?
ask things that, you want to get a good result. Ask something that will probably get you a good result. And then you went with the Bills. I'm like, oh my God, what is Maggie doing? You were asking for that.
I just walked into traffic, basically. The tarot card version. Why did I do that? Oh, I'm so bummed.
And you know what's
right
going to
now.
happen now? Bills Mafia, if they don't win, they're going to be like, Maggie got that tarot card reader.
I'm not, it's just in the cards. What was I supposed to do?
This is something. This is a psychological study.
You're right. Once Bills Mafia gets a hold of this, it's going to be my ass.
I feel like you're going to have to jump through a burning table to get them off your back or something like that. Or at least maybe not burning, maybe just a regular table.
Oh, to try to, I'm not.
You got to reverse the bad vibes that came from the tarot card reading.
So rebuild a broken table?
No, I think you got to embrace what Bills Mafia is about. So you got to jump through a broken, fixed table or a regular table.
What I'm going to have to do is on my own time and on my own dime, I'm going to have to go back to Angela and see if someone has cursed the team. Because she said that she's not a witch, but some people come to her to see if a spell has been put on the team.
Yeah, she can say if someone has put a spell on you.
Right. And so I'm wondering if maybe the spell I don't know why the Bills are cursed. Is it because they have kept OJ in the Ring of Honor? I don't know what's going on, but they have done something bad to upset the gods.
Gods? I'm not
the
sure
sports
that's
gods.
the sports
or
gods.
angels.
She did say the angels.
Angels do exist. We learned too.
Yeah.
By the way, we mentioned, we were questioning whether or not she's a witch, and she said she's not. But she was wearing a wizard hat today. So maybe she's a wizard.
Washington?
No.
We found the one Wizards fan having the tarot card.
A hat, literally the hat that the wizard, the logo guy wears.
Yeah.
Like that long hat with a little puff at the bottom. She put
thou
her
shalt
hat
not
on as I
pass.
was walking around.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's an actual hat she's wearing out in the street.
She's like a little staff like Gandalf?
Yeah.
I mean,
she's got a cool style. I wonder if I need to hire my own witch to put a curse on Mahomes. I don't know. I'm
she said
workshopping
if
all
you do
this.
that, it's going to come back threefold.
No, it's going to go, and I don't want to win that way. I don't want to win that way. That's a cheap way. That's cheating.
Doesn't matter. You won't anyway. It's the Buffalo Bills.
Jeff Q in the chat says Maggie has to turn in her Bills Mafia card now.
What?
And then Daly said Maggie pulled the goalpost card wide right.
No, that's not funny.
I liked it.
It's pretty funny to me.
How dare you? Shoot.
Well, let me give you good news.
Okay.
Perloff didn't ask the tarot cards about Joel Embiid because Embiid himself gave us the reading yesterday.
There's really no timeline. It all depends on. You can never tell how the body reacts, especially once you start ramping up. It all depends on how it feels.
Yeah, no rush, bro. The season's just falling apart. Embiid says he still wants to play this year. He'll come back once he's healthy, no matter where the Sixers are in the standings. When he had left knee surgery, the team said he'd be reevaluated in 4 weeks, and 4 weeks is this coming Tuesday. Caitlin Clark is headed for the WNBA draft. She still had her COVID year to use at Iowa. The Indiana Fever have the number 1 pick this spring. On the court last night, 4th-ranked Stanford, a 67-63 win at number 11 Oregon State. Cameron Brink, 25 points and 23 rebounds. And Pete would like me to tell you that Brock Nelson scored twice. The Islanders snapped the Red Wings 6-game win streak, 5-3 in Detroit, which is also not between here and San Antonio. Maggie, back to you.
Home to Perloff's favorite basketball team.
Oh, that's
true.
Wait, what?
He's not listening.
Pistons.
Did you say Brock Lesnar scored some goals? Why is Pete paying attention?
Brock Lesnar. I don't know if we're going to be hearing from him for a while.
It's going to be a while to hear about him.
Yeah, some things to deal with.
A couple things. 855-212-4CBS. Bogusch, thank you very much. Coming up, is it time for one sports term to die? We'll tell you next.
What sports term is that?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Still reeling, for being honest. Angela, the tarot card reader, came in at the top of the hour, and I was very flippant about tarot card reading. I was like, it's like reading a horoscope. Nothing bad could happen. None of the stuff is real. It's all just phooey and fake. Boom. First car she turns over. Buffalo Bills not winning the Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
God.
What?
I mean, she would have
moly.
been laughed out of the industry if she had pulled a card that said yes.
Guys, you act like the Bills aren't a good team that has like high Super Bowl odds, and she just said they're not going to win in the next 5 years.
Sorry, Maggie, but that's kind of why it's funny to me.
But they haven't won in the last 55 years. Why all of a sudden, or how many years has it been? When did they start?
Well, you can go back to.
Oh, they won the AFL
Super Bowl.
They never won a Super Bowl, right?
Super Bowl era.
So, right. So, what did you expect?
Well, guys.
If she had said yes, would you have believed it?
Yes.
Knowing that you're skeptical about tarot card reading.
I would have been
able. If
able.
she had said yes.
It would have taken 10 years off my life if she had said yes. Just like in a good way, like in a positive, take the worry away. And be like, eventually it's going to happen. I can watch every game and feel optimistic.
No.
Now there's no way I can do that.
Actually, if she had said the Bills are going to win, I think you would have been actually more nervous in a weird way.
No, I would have been such a relief to know it's out of my hands. I mean, I guess it's out of my hands anyway, but I don't have to be so clenched jaw about the whole thing.
No, because I think secretly right now you have come to peace with the fact that the Bills are not going to win. If it was a real thing, then it'd be more nerve-wracking in a way. Because right now we all know the Bills are not going to win a Super Bowl.
Okay,
right?
you picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl last year.
Like the 2022 season.
Yeah. So that's not that far away.
Yeah, I'll never do it again.
I'm just saying, it's not that out of the realm to think that this is the team and this is the quarterback where they could break through. And Angela, the tarot card reader, just came in and said, the cards are telling you absolutely not. And it's because there's a dark-haired woman in the background that's causing some kind of strife. And I think it's Kim Pegula, the owner of the Bills, has gone through some health issues lately. And I think the fact that she's not there is probably hurting the team.
I'll be honest, I really think it's Haley Steinfeld.
Is her hair black, though?
Much better headline.
I mean, Haley Steinfeld, yes, and when she's in Hawkeye, she has black hair, for sure. Kate Bishop is a black-haired character.
Of course she does in Hawkeye.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've Bills Mafia's been asking when we're going to see more of Haley. Why don't we see more of Haley? You asked Josh Allen himself at Super Bowl week. Hey, can we see more? He couldn't even say her name. It's like he couldn't even bring it up. He wanted to talk about Benny the Butcher. Like maybe there are issues behind the scenes where if he even brings up Haley Steinfeld in connection to the Bills as a problem.
What if Haley's a witch?
She could be.
I mean,
but how is Haley impacting the team? Like Taylor, we could get it. She's out there in front. She's
and
putting more
won.
pressure on, and she ended up being a good luck charm for them.
Yeah, they were great with it. So, yeah, you're right. But honestly, if we're looking for a headline out of this, Haley Steinfeld is ruining the Bills is much better than everyone knows. Kim Pegula is sick. So, yeah, I think. And come on, EJ, I genuinely believe if there's a problem with the team, has something to do with a relationship.
Man,
that's what's happening to the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Somebody is mad over something. It's clearly, you think that what's more likely, that Josh Allen's distracted because of Haley Steinfeld, or that the ownership group is falling apart? Actually, you're right.
I don't. Josh is not the problem to me.
Right, but those other guys could have a problem with him.
Or maybe, or
maybe
with
they're like,
her
hey, you're not spending
something.
you're not spending time with the boys. You're going on lavish trips to Cancun and you're hanging out in New York City in the off season. Why aren't you at the facility?
I mean, I don't know. Aren't they adults? Who cares? Tom Brady was dating Giselle and married her for 20 years.
Look, you heard Deion Dawkins last week talk about how he feels about Josh Allen. He don't want people even talking about him, looking at him, but he treats him like that's his guy. So you don't think he feels a little weird that Josh's attention's been pulled away probably from the team and a little bit more to Haley?
Guys, this is the worst day ever. This was my idea. How did this backfire so spectacularly on me?
I mean, it was self-inflicted.
I know.
That's the part of it that is still incredible to me. Because I literally walked in there. I was like, I'm not asking about the Jets or Knicks or Mets because I know that's not going to end well. Like, I know it. Like, I feel like there's a better chance it will end if I don't ask something.
I know Perloff didn't ask about the 76ers.
Right, then if I do.
No. Because we're realistic.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
What did I expect? If she said the Sixers are going to win a title, I would be like, are you completely out of your mind?
Well, let's move on. Let's keep going to more sports. How about this one? It's draft season, which means we toss around the term generational talent quite a bit, Perloff, and especially with Caleb Williams because he does look like one of those generational prospects. Here's Greg Cosell on our friend Ross Tucker's podcast saying we've got to retire this term.
I think I hope we learned our lesson a little bit. And this is no knock on Trevor Lawrence at all, who I think is a good player and will probably get better. But, everybody said when he came out he's a generational quarterback. And that's a term I would never use. I mean, he's played 3 years in the league and he's a good player. But I don't think anybody is going to say right now that Trevor Lawrence is generational or that he's even one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league.
Fair. I get it. But I would love to ask this for Greg Cosell. Could he ever be, were we wrong to have high expectations for Trevor Lawrence considering his college career was so good? And also, were people saying that about Andrew Luck, the last other generational talent that we...
In our lifetime, we had Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, and now Caleb Williams. Yep. Yes, I think what he's saying is don't put Super Bowl expectations on this kid because it's way harder. There's a lot more going on, right? That's his overall message.
I guess the question is, do you think that Trevor Lawrence will ever fulfill the prophecy, if you will? Will he be able to get to that point of generational talent? It's just been a little rougher beginning of his career, partly because he started with Urban Meyer. I mean, that was rough that rookie season.
I'd be shocked if the Jags win in the next 5 years.
Let's get Angela back.
Yeah, just because it's with the Jags. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I do think it's a fair question, too, that he puts on the thing of, hey, he's not even a top 2 or 3 quarterback. Because think about the guys we've had. Okay, Peyton Manning, yes, we would agree at one point, multiple times, top 2 or 3 quarterback. I mean, Andrew Luck, how often was he really at the elite?
Twice, probably.
Right, and a career that was short, but not like he played 2 years. He played a little while. I don't know if you'd say he realized whatever potential we thought, even though he was a really good quarterback.
Yeah, I think
same thing with Trevor Lawrence.
He's
really good, but we have not seen yet him play at that level on a consistent basis. So when you're talking about saying generational, you're talking about Dan Marino types. You're talking about guys who are going to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, John Elway.
Right, we have not seen that yet. So maybe it is unfair to keep putting down these quarterbacks that come out as talented as Caleb is.
We disagree on this, but if anybody thinks that Caleb Williams coming into Chicago and going to get that Super Bowl on the rookie cap, it's a really hard assignment there. It feels like if we're going to ask Derek Carr to the Bears within the next 5 years, I think it's a no. So that means he is not a generational talent because if you're talking about Peyton Manning, he got to the Super Bowl. He won in 2006.
Wait, now you have to be. Now you have to win in the next 5 years to be
generational talent. It's like the NBA.
Then John Elway and Dan Marino don't apply. Dan Marino got to a Super Bowl,
but John Elway got to the Super Bowl too.
I know, but
the league has changed, and now a quarterback you have to get there within 5 years, or you're not taking advantage of the rookie cap. I'm just saying it doesn't feel like those guys are headed towards the Super Bowl with these teams.
And Elway and Marino, they were 2 of the 3, 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
Like when they were going and losing in the Super Bowl.
Well, Marino, to be fair, Peyton Manning, I mean, yeah, it was just that first year that was really bad.
Right. I mean, again, Trevor Lawrence going to the Super Bowl anytime soon?
I don't know. I still believe in his talent. I think when his career is done, we're going to look at Trevor Lawrence and be like, oh, he was a generational.
Here's the question. Is Josh Allen a generational talent? And he hasn't gotten the Super Bowl and apparently will not for 5 years. So I think generational talent means like LeBron. I mean, that's what we're talking about. And that ain't happening.
Coming up, we dive deep into one of sports superstars. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. .4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She can put away a large pizza by herself. He's allergic to cheese. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Major decisions happening in the next couple weeks. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And what I mean by major decisions, Perloff, is teams who are picking high in this draft who have to decide if now's the right time for a quarterback, and specifically the New England Patriots, who pick third.
Yeah, it's going to be a deep quarterback class. A lot of quarterbacks are going to go. So can you afford, say you want Marvin Harrison Jr.,
right?
Or say you want the top left tackle, which all the teams need. Everybody could use a Marvin Harrison, and everyone could use a left tackle. Do you rush the quarterback? I do think there is reasoning to think, oh, man, should I take a quarterback now when the team around him stinks? Because we've seen how that works.
Yeah, but...
And that often can go really badly.
No, I get it. We've seen quarterbacks who their careers have been derailed because they come in and the team around them stinks, and it can be off-putting. But what does Marvin Harrison do for a team if you don't have a lot of this infrastructure in place? Like, if you have a lesser quarterback who's there, you still don't have a left tackle, you still don't have some of these other, areas that you need, then Marvin Harrison's going to be double covered and it's going to be a wrap.
Well, Marvin Harrison's like Devontae Adams. Just throw it within 8 yards of that guy. His catch radius is so big that maybe he can transcend that. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, honestly, neither position is perfect. Maybe they trade down. What about that? The Giants want to get up to 3, reportedly. There's going to be a lot of teams to try and get that top 3 tier of quarterbacks, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. They just have so many needs. Even if they do take a quarterback, it doesn't feel like, oh, man, we got our guy. It's exciting. It feels like, oh, man, we got our guy. I hope we don't get him killed.
Man, while the Patriots, and we're talking about what they should do with the number 3 overall pick, they are still trying to find the true successor to Tom Brady. And listen, this is what it's like. Hello, Patriots. This is what it's like for the rest of the NFL. Sometimes finding a quarterback takes a really long time. Everyone's trying to do it. But considering you've had all these changes now in the last year, Bill Belichick's out of the building, Gerard Mayo stepping in. I mean, don't you want to give a little bit of optimism? The last 2 years have been rough for the Patriots. Start with a quarterback.
Sure.
Get somebody in the building that maybe you get a little excitement, and you have enough distance now between Brady where this young player is not going to have all those Brady expectations like, hey, we're the Patriots. We can do anything. We can become a Super Bowl team with Mac Jones. People are a lot more realistic now about where New England's at.
Oh, totally. I agree with all that. I mean, here's the thing. New England famously, where did they find their quarterback? 6th round, right. Tom Brady. Elliott Wolf comes from what team? The Green Bay Packers. Where did they find their quarterback? 25. I think there are other ways to do it than just take the guy at the top of the draft who's going to be a total crapshoot anyway. It's 50-50, and especially if you have no receivers, you don't have a great offensive line, you have a defensive-minded head coach, this is just set up for failure.
Yeah, you're a little more down on the Patriots, like wholly as a franchise, of than I am.
I mean, certainly next year, though. I mean, they're 31st in Super Bowl odds out of 32. So there's just no way. It doesn't seem roster-wise that they can make it happen this year. Maybe you're saying within 4 or 5 years? You can't be saying next year they're going to make any noise.
No, not next year, because that would be unrealistic. But I'm willing to put this out there for you. I think Gerard Mayo gets a second contract. Like, I don't think this is such – and I haven't loved how he's handled this at first. Came out the first day of his press conference, basically said, we're taking a quarterback. It's like, dude, that's not – you might want to collab a little on this, not put out your intentions. Like, he's made a couple – just very small and totally forgivable rookie head coach mistakes. But I think he's going to be someone who gets a second deal. I don't think this is going to blow up so spectacularly in Gerard Mayo's face that all of a sudden 2 years from now, they're looking for the next guy.
Gosh, I like Gerard Mayo, but I don't know how long his contract is when that second contract comes up. This is a tough spot. Tough spot for this guy here. Following Belichick, no Brady, and no talent on your team because Belichick has not been a good GM, to be honest.
Yep.
And they did really badly on the NFLPA report card, for what that's worth.
A lot of that was Bill.
Yeah, which is actually no surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you were going to be objective about it, most of the teams that pick in the top 10 tend to stay in the top 10 for year after year. I think we're overly optimistic come draft time. If you're taking a quarterback at number 3, there's a reason, and whatever those reasons are still going to be there. I don't think it's going to be such a surefire thing. The other thing too about this draft, you're going to what happened to Bryce Young. What's the worst thing that happened to Bryce Young? Not that his receivers were terrible, not that his O-line was terrible, not that the coaching staff was in total disarray in Carolina. It's that the guy after him, C.J. Stroud, is a superstar. So everyone's like, "Oh man, you screwed that up." So New England has extra pressure. It's a quarterback-heavy draft. I could just see us looking back on this and say, wow, New England got it wrong. Hopefully for them, they get it right, but this is a really tough spot.
I wonder if this draft ends up becoming, it's going to look different at the top, obviously. But remember the 2018 draft, the famous Baker Mayfield goes first, Sam Darnold second. And then, do you end up where it was the later picks, the Josh Allens over the Josh Rosens, and Lamar Jackson ends up becoming the cream of the crop of that class?
Yeah, absolutely. Could easily happen, although it does seem like now, it's combine time. It could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 10 quarterback. I don't know if anyone gets down to 31. Sam Darnold was 3, right?
Saquon
went in there.
2. How dare I?
Yeah, I think, by the way, after Lamar Jackson went 31 or 32, I don't think teams are ever going to let that happen again.
Okay, let's turn our attention to a really cool story. Kristen Lappas is the director of Giannis, The Marvelous Journey, which is a documentary about Giannis Antetokounmpo and his life. It's on Prime Video. It came out February 19th. And Kristen, good enough to join us. Kristen, thanks so much for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. We're excited to talk about the documentary, but first a little bit about you. Your last name, rather famous in college basketball circles. Your dad was Coach Steve Lappas, right?
He is, yes, and he is now a CBS employee. So
we love it. We'll be talking to your dad soon because Selection Sunday, he's always our first phone call. So what's your favorite memory growing up with your dad as, former Villanova coach and all of that?
Oh my gosh, there are so many memories. My family was very involved in his career, and we traveled a lot with the team. I'm trying to think. We went dog sledding in Alaska during the Alaskan shootout with the entire Villanova basketball team. So I was like 8 years old, and I was like riding on a bobsled with Kerry Kittles. I don't know. There's like very weird and random memories that I'll like tell my friends now, and they're like, "That's not normal," right?
Riding on a bobsled with Kerry Kittles should be the name of your memoir if you ever write one. So
Kristen,
cool.
I'm from Lower Merion. We used to sneak into DuPont all the time. I love that team. Oh my gosh, are you all about Villanova, who's right now on the bubble? Are you still a huge fan?
Absolutely. We watch every game, and my dad is over there all the time when he's not traveling for work. So we are Villanova through and through.
Awesome. Kristen Lappas is here. She's the director of Giannis, The Marvelous Journey. It's on Prime Video right now. So, Giannis's story, Kristen, obviously fascinating with him, growing up in Greece, coming over here to become a 2-time MVP and champion. But what attracted you to his story to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about, I'm from a basketball family, but I'm also Greek. My mom and my dad, so I'm 100% Greek. Grew up with that culture. My parents speaking the language at home, and so when Giannis was drafted in 2013, Greeks feel a sense of pride when like another Greek person does something amazing, and so we were all so proud. Just to we didn't know him, but we were like, this is the coolest thing ever that a Greek player is in the NBA. And then fast forward to 2019, I actually met him and his agent in Athens right around the time his first signature shoe with Nike was coming out. And we stayed in touch. And I got a gig at a New York production studio called Words and Pictures. And the first day of the job, my boss, Connor Shell, who created 30 for 30, he was like, we've been in talks with Giannis and his team, and we think he might be ready to tell his story. And so it was like a perfect fit. Just on so many different levels. So obviously it was like an emphatic yes for me.
Kristen, go back to when Giannis entered the league and you were proud of him. In your wildest imagination, could you imagine that his career was going to unfold like this? Because I remember when he was drafted and everyone was talking about, he's a hard name to pronounce. But I mean, talk about a guy who's exceeded expectations. He was not the number one pick like LeBron. Could you ever seen this coming?
No, and in fact, in the film, we actually highlight some of the draft picks before him, and every time they start popping the names up, like me and my husband still, like obviously I've lived and breathed this movie for 2 years, and we're like, how were all of you guys picked before him? But at the time, the Bucks didn't even have a physical on him, so I mean, it makes sense in the moment. But no, I don't think in anyone's wildest dreams. I think the only person that knew that this could happen was Giannis. And you can see that in some of the early interviews that we actually, uncovered for the doc, where he's talking about wanting to be the MVP in 2014 and people are laughing at him. But I guess he knew.
Wait, let's name a name, Kristen. Who's the person who got drafted in front of you? I mean, he was a second round pick, so a lot a lot of guys went in front of him. The one that makes you laugh the hardest.
He was 15. I'm looking at this draft. It's a terrible draft, too.
Oh, sorry. He was the first round. Yeah.
Alex Len. I mean, I don't know. Who the first pick was?
Anthony Bennett.
That was
Cavaliers.
all-time rough draft. Kristen Lappas is joining us. She's the director of Giannis, The Marvelous Journey. And if you recognize her last name, yes, her dad is Steve Lappas, so she understands her basketball here. You know, it's funny because now Giannis has been a part of our lives for a while. And so you're like, oh, yeah, you know, he was a Greek immigrant, but look at now he's been in the United States and been a star for so long. When you go back to the part that we sort of yada over now, what were the depths there of the odds, or what were the odds that were stacked against him really in his situation in Greece, and just how crazy it is that he is here now as a superstar?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a huge challenge for us when we started making this. Was people think that they know the broad strokes of his story, right? It's like, oh, I've heard that story. Like, why? But the reality is that the story has never been told from him and his family's perspective and through their words. And so going in, you know, I did all of my research, I read all the articles, but I sat down with each of them, and like, they had never done like formal sit down interviews. Like, his mom had never done an on-camera interview. His fiance had never done an on-camera interview. And so like, they were revealing all of these stories and all of these layers to the undocumented immigrant from Greece who made it. And it was so much more than that. And it was so much deeper and more complex. I mean, just to name a few things, there's a really challenging and complex relationship between Greece and undocumented immigrants, the way that they were treated by, you know, really extremist groups in Greece as kids, you know, violent groups that were anti-immigrant, anti-African American, like Black. And so it was really challenging. I mean, he says in the movie, like, we would run home from the gym because we were afraid of our for our lives.
So that he came in the league in 2013, 2 MVPs later, an NBA Finals MVP later. Has Giannis changed as a person?
Absolutely not. He has a lot of people between like him and I getting to sit down together, right? Like, you know, they have agents and all, but when him and I got into a room together, he is so humble, so down to earth. The first time I ever filmed with him, he was doing this speaking event at this really fancy restaurant in Athens, Greece, and he gets dropped off and he's holding a microwave pizza in his hands. And he was like, this is who I really am. Like, I don't like all the fancy stuff. Like, I just want my microwave pizza, and I'm just happy to be here based on, you know, the way that I was brought up. You know, another story, his brothers bought him a car 2 years ago. This is obviously after like the Supermax deal, after everything. And like, his reaction, it didn't make the movie, but like, just tears and like how can we afford this? And like, and it's so genuine. It's like, of course he can afford a Range Rover, but like, he still just doesn't forget where he came from. So it is remarkable.
Kristen Lappas is joining us. She's the director of Giannis, The Marvelous Journey. Eating a microwave pizza in Greece feels like sacrilegious. I don't know. It's like a country that's known for many things, but definitely food. I feel like we shouldn't give Giannis a pass for that one. We should definitely shame him for that one. But Kristen, Perloff asked if Giannis has changed at all. I think you can definitely tell, at least from the outside, that he's understands how the NBA works. Like, he understands he's a massive piece on the chessboard, and what he says is going to get people moving. You know, he wants another star to play alongside him. Boom, you get Dame Lillard. You know, he understands sort of the rhythms of the NBA and how superstars get what they want. How committed do you think he really is to Milwaukee? From what you know of him, I know that he just signed a contract extension, but quite frankly, in the NBA, those aren't really indicative of a huge commitment. How committed to Milwaukee do you think he is?
I think he's very committed to Milwaukee. He is a very loyal person, and he will tell this to you. Like, they were the people that believed in me when I was a no one. They're the people that helped my family get visas in order to come over to America. They're the people that stood by me when we were losing. And so I think he does feel this sense of obligation to deliver for Milwaukee again. And that's not, again, disingenuous. Like, when everybody this past fall was like, oh my gosh, will he, won't he? I had just sat down with him for an interview, and I was like, he's definitely going to stay with Milwaukee. Now, he also has told me he really wants to win another championship for Milwaukee, but also for his legacy, he said, I want my children who were really, really, he only had one son when he won the first one. He's like, I want my kids to be there and experience that with me. So in my opinion, I think he stays in Milwaukee for the long haul, and he ends up retiring a Buck, but who knows?
I think some skeptics thought that he played a role in Adrian Griffin getting fired in Milwaukee, just assuming because he's a star player. I mean, can you believe that Giannis does, you paint a picture, he desperately does want to win another title.
No doubt.
Is it possible, as nice a person as he is, that he could play a role in something like that?
I personally don't think he had anything to do with that. You can call me naive. I really don't think he did. I think that in the offseason, when they were making coaching changes, he was definitely involved in the hiring process. Obviously, he's their best player. Of course, he would be involved and they would get his opinion. But I really don't, I talked to him at the All-Star game. We had a big premiere for the movie, and I really don't think that he was in on that. And again, he's a really smart, savvy business person, basketball mind. I'm not saying that like he's naive in terms of any of that, but I do think that, again, he's just a really loyal guy, and he really just cares about his family, but he does care a lot about the Bucks organization.
The movie is called Giannis, The Marvelous Journey. Kristen Lappas is the director. Okay, last one, Kristen, because we knew we were having you on, it got us into this big discussion about sports documentaries and which ones we've seen and which ones we haven't seen and what we'd like to see in the future. First, we'll take, obviously beyond your own work, your favorite sports documentary of all time, or a documentary you think everyone in our audience should carve out time to watch.
So it's 1000% OJ Made in America. I actually watch it. My husband also directs documentaries, and we watch it once a year, just because it is such a masterpiece that I literally will sit there with my notebook and just take notes, because the way that they are able to weave the story of OJ Simpson and the trial and everything through this larger lens of race in America is just so brilliant. I do know Ezra, and I've actually been honored to have got on a call with him and asked him a million questions about it. But it's such a masterpiece. It's it's timeless, and that's my pick.
That's Ezra Edelman, right? Is the Oscar winner who directed that? Yep. And then the documentary that you would like to see get made. I don't know if this is giving away any kind of intellectual property on your side, or is there a sports story you still want all the answers to?
Sports story I mean, obviously anyone that's in this industry that does what I do wants to sit down with Tiger Woods. There was obviously the unauthorized HBO documentary a couple of years ago that, to be honest, was really unsatisfying. So that's the one, but he'll never do it. But that's the one, I think. I'm trying to think of who else. This is a little bit of a plug, but I am very excited about my next project. We've been working with Caitlin Clark for the last 6 months on a documentary series that comes out in May. So that's been really fun. And I think people are going to see a different side of her.
I'm sorry, you said it comes out in May?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
May, ABC, leading into the NBA playoffs, May 8th. I think it's a Saturday.
Oh, yes. All right. We'll definitely have to get Caitlin Clark, just like everyone else in America. We're caught up in Caitlin.
I just have to ask, is she for real? Is that all? Is what we see what we get?
She is the absolute real deal. I just love it. It's so authentic, and she is it's really cool to watch.
You got to pick a mean athlete.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Giannis, Caitlin.
Yeah. She has some edge. She if you watch closely, I was at a game a few months ago, and she gets at her teammates. She's one of the greatest competitors I've ever seen. So she can be a little ruthless, but
we love it. All right. Well, booking it. We'll get you back on to talk about Caitlin Clark in May. Kristen, congratulations. Giannis, The Marvelous Journey. It's on Prime Video right now. And we appreciate the time and enjoy the end of the beginning of March Madness, rather, and the end of college basketball season.
Best time of the year. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kristen Lappas. Oh, yes. We got a Caitlin Clark doc.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. It's not a bad little run for her, going Giannis to Caitlin Clark. Who's next? Is it going to be LeBron? I mean, she knows how to find winners here.
All right, coming up, what was the number one moment from our show this week? We count down the top 5 next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. It is Friday. We have a newish segment that I think the time is going to be set. I'm not sure when it's going to be.
Yes.
We were all set on making it 9:05, But we just talked to Kristen Lappas, director of the new Giannis documentary, which sounds really cool. But I think, is it time for Five After?
I got 5 on it. It's been a big week on Maggie and Perloff. Here are the week's top 5 moments at 5 After.
This is now 5 after 9:20 Eastern. It's 9:25. Listen, it's going to work. All right, top 5 moments of the week of Maggie and Perloff. Number 5, Perloff, earlier this week we were talking about what can ruin a sports movie, and that's when the actors are not good at sports, and EJ gave us this.
Ryan Gosling was the worst defensive back in the history of football movies. He couldn't cover anybody.
But this is the wrestling problem. It feels like EJ doesn't realize that this is a movie. And then when anything was happening, because he was told
100%.
to do that by a script, like it's not real life.
He couldn't cover anybody. It's such a great line. Okay, number 4, top 5 moments of the week from Maggie and Perloff. Carlos Ortiz was with us yesterday. He was producing for EJ. And he told us about when he was in active duty in the military, he had a very tough decision that he had to make.
Yeah, I was just telling Colton my active duty station was going to be in Alaska, and I had no say in that. The only reason I got out of it is I volunteered for deployment. I was like, I'd rather go overseas than go to Alaska.
You said you'd rather go overseas.
Not that I'd said. I went.
And by the way, not just any overseas. He went to the middle of the Iraq War in the early 2000s.
Unbelievable.
Our dude really did not want to go to Alaska.
You need to do a deep dive on that.
And the funny thing is, Carlos couldn't understand why we were like, why did you choose Alaska? But
it's something about the sun's always out, then it's never out. Anyway, okay, number 3, Maggie and Perloff, top 5 moments of the week. We did a great debate series on Wednesdays, as we always do. And this week's topic was the best return from retirement, the best, sports story of someone coming out of retirement. And Pete had an interesting choice. Pete Pilati went with Bruce Bochy.
Well, hold on. Why are you laughing
Okay, maybe not.
at that? Why are you laughing at that?
He had to learn analytics again.
He won a World Series with the Texas Rangers.
So if I can have the floor.
No, you can't. That's ridiculous.
You asked him a question.
He's laughing whatsoever. Not like I picked someone that played board games.
Yes, EJ picked Michael Jordan. I picked Michael Phelps. Perloff.
I picked George Foreman.
Yeah.
Right.
And Bogusch picked Mario Lemieux.
I think you could have just done Bruce Bochy's mustache. That could have been the comeback.
And he picked Bruce Bochy.
We're getting there.
Okay. Number 2, top 5 moments of the week for the Maggie and Perloff show happened an hour ago. We had a tarot card reader named Angela come in the studio, and I asked a question I should not have asked.
Maggie, what is your question?
Will the Buffalo Bills ever win the Super Bowl?
Define ever.
In the next 5 years.
Okay, the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Poor Bills. Okay.
Thank you. The tarot card reader knows the
even
Bills'
Angela
history.
knows.
Well, she's from upstate.
I think 50 would have been a better number of years.
I'm afraid I get a disappointing answer for you. This is the 2 of Swords. They're still waiting for their time.
And it didn't get any better from there.
You brought it upon yourself, Maggie. It's your fault.
I'm going to get kicked out of Bill's Mafia. All right, and the number 1 moment from the Maggie and Perloff show, actually one of our most viral videos that we've had so far on the show, was the legendary Peter King, a friend of ours, an award-winning sports writer, and just an amazing talent. He announced his retirement on Monday. He came on the show, and we gave him the top 5 things Peter King should do in retirement. And this list didn't get very far because Peter didn't love number 5.
Oh, I can go to Peru and do ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
I think I would rather be in a pitch dark house for 5 days with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, we suggested ayahuasca as a retirement activity, and Peter said no dice.
Unbelievable.
There you go. Top 5 moments of the week of Maggie and Perloff.
That was by the way, great parting gift from Peter to our longtime friend. Although I wonder if he's not thrilled with us necessarily now.
What's that about the video that went viral?
About Deflategate, yeah.
Well, what was the question the video that went viral is Peter talking about the biggest regret that he had in his 40+ year career of sports writing, and one was about confirming what turned out to be an erroneous report about Deflategate.
Yeah.
But the question you asked him was, what was the story you still want to know the answer to, right?
Yeah. But actually,
he volunteered.
Because we had just seen the
regret.
Patriots documentary. We were talking about Deflategate, and Peter was all over the Deflategate story.
Right.
So I think we got it in his head. You know what he tweeted? He said, I've been very open about this before, but Deflategate to me, it's the third rail of sports for some reason. It's the dumbest scandal, and yet, if you want clicks, talk about Deflategate. People are still into it because no one knows the stupid balls were deflated, Maggie.
Well, it's not just that. I think we all agree and disagree on whether it's a big deal. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I still think, all right, I'm going to bring it up again. If the guy actually took the balls that were just marked by the officials and went into the bathroom and deflated them a little,
Yeah, that's pretty salacious.
That's pretty egregious.
Right. I think Spygate is the more egregious one, but
Oh, see, I disagree because Spygate, everybody was doing that. They were just so blatant about it, right?
yeah, I think they were. I think that Bill Belichick was building dossiers on coaching staffs, and I also think there was part of it which came out in the documentary, which is why he got so upset at Eric Mangini, is because other coaches knew they were doing this and went out to tell their jobs, but it was sort of like, don't tell on the family,
right?
Like. Mangini was ostracized because he turned on Belichick.
And if you say you have a problem with that, you desperately want to hire Jim Harbaugh this offseason in Buffalo. So if they were doing it for your Buffalo Bills, maybe you'd win a Super Bowl in 5 years.
Well,
if they would just
not.
start videotape. Well, they didn't get Harbaugh, and now they're not videotaping anybody, and that's your problem.
It's the cards. It's written in the stars and the cards and everything else. And the Bills are not going to win a Super Bowl. And I love it because EJ and Perloff, you guys are both like, it's your fault for asking the question. It's not the Bills' fault for not building a better team. It's my fault for asking the question.
Well, Angela said you can use your free will. Maybe you should jump ship. Maybe you should pick another team. You have free will to get. You know they're not going to win.
Follow that path.
You know they're not going to. But you know they're not going to win a Super Bowl. Pick up the Chiefs.
I'm not you. I'm not going to do that because that would be the akin to putting a spell on a team and it comes back on you threefold.
So what are you going to do for the next 5 years?
Well, I'm
River Misery.
gonna bring this back because, like, I know you were on Zach Gelb yesterday, and we talked about it off air about this proposal that one of the hosts here, Ryan Hickey, producer as well, put out there that they should trade Josh Allen for the number 1 pick and the number 9 pick. And look, Angela said there's free will involved. You can change your course. So clearly, the Bills aren't trading Josh Allen. We all know that.
Right.
But the course they're going down is not going to lead them to a Super Bowl. So perhaps they should reconsider and say, hey, maybe Caleb Williams is the answer.
No, but the card specifically said a dark-haired woman behind the scenes. Now, it might be Kim Pakula. Maybe if her health turns for the better, she gets back in the mix. Maybe that's something that changes out of free will. And then the other part, maybe it's Haley Steinfeld. Maybe he breaks up with Haley or they get married, maybe double downs on Haley and really commits to her. Maybe that changes the equation. No, guys, give me something.
I got you. EJ's half right. The cards were about the Bills. The cards weren't about you. So first of all, you did not do this. You didn't influence it. You did not cause them to maybe lose the next 5 Super Bowls. You didn't do that.
Oh, wait, do you think they actually would go to 5 and lose 5 in a row?
Because it's on the table.
Oh, God.
One franchise who could probably pull that off.
Maybe them.
They came close.
But I think this is where free will comes in. They have the ability to change their path. Right now, the cards say you're not going to win the next 5 years, but they can change that. You can't, but they can. So maybe they, whatever it is, a personnel change, a return to health, whatever, they can change the course. They can say what the cards say, throw it out the window, and win you a Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
Okay, so what you're saying is we have to get this video somehow to the powers that be at the Buffalo Bills. They have to believe it.
Right.
They have to acknowledge it.
Correct.
They've got to accept it.
Yes.
And then they've got to make a bold change.
It sounds simple when you say it out loud like that.
Okay. Let me see what I can do.
Almost as simple as driving to San Antonio through Chicago.
It only has 3 hours. It should only had a decade.
What a radical move.
Maybe you need to drive to Buffalo and apologize to the Bills Mafia.
That would be perfectly sensible, too, because that's due west, basically.
Also, it takes as long to get to San Antonio as it does to get to Buffalo.
I was thinking about it. I could do Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Wait, why am I apologizing?
Because you drew these cards.
No. I don't think it's her fault.
I don't think it's her fault. Well, I don't think it's her fault that the Bills are going to lose. I think it's her fault that now people will think, well, Maggie drew these cards, and now we know we're going to lose, and this wouldn't have happened had she not drew those cards.
See, I kind of like what Bogusch is saying, though. I think I'm doing the organization a favor here. At least I put it out there. It's like, hey, you keep going down this path, you're not going to win.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So then drive. Yeah, so I'm saying you should drive to Buffalo and say, hey, this is the information I had. So maybe it's not an apology, but it's more of you're giving them information.
Fact-finding.
Right.
It's a delivery.
Right.
You're the FedEx driver in this.
It'd be amazing if I got there and they're like, everyone's at the scouting combine, you idiot. Oh, get back in the car. Go to Indy now.
I mean, let's be honest. You think that would be a big surprise to anyone in that building if Maggie came in and said, we're not winning the Super Bowl in 5 years? They know.
Here's another one. Take her away.
Guards.
I just talked to a tarot card reader.
It's the third one today.
It'd be like if I showed up with like a witch doctor. Oh, they're back.
They are.
Put the poop hat on so they take you seriously.
I feel like wearing it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right. Well, thank you to Angela who came in. Again, if you need a tarot card reader, she's going to give you the truth.
This is what you needed at that party. This is what me and Pearl were trying to tell you.
It would have been such a downer.
You went to that party and you were like, "Oh, a tarot card reader. It was harmless." I'm like, it wasn't a real tarot card reader then.
You know, I did have like 2.5 glasses of wine before I sat down with the tarot card reader. Maybe nothing she would have said would have impacted me then. A little different. That would have been a bummer for the party, though. Bogusch is here.
Well, in case you haven't heard yet this morning, Victor Wembanyama is better than Chet Holmgren in NBA basketball. Case closed. The Spurs rookie, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 blocks. The Thunder rookie, 23, 7, 5, and 1. And San Antonio outscored OKC 132-118, ending a 5-game skid. What the bleep, Chet?
Any team can beat you on any given night, regardless of record or anything. And you know, like I said, they came out confident. Part of that was them, part of that was us. So we just got to be better next time around.
That does not sound like an NBA Rookie of the Year.
Definitely not.
Miami's 5-game win streak
Very deflated.
in Denver, 103-97. Sounds more like a guy who spent last year around the NBA and now is going to finally play here in year 2.
Sounds like a second-year guy.
Yeah. The Warriors, a 110-99 win at the Garden. They've won 7 in a row on the road. The Suns topped the Rockets 110-105 with Booker and KD combining for 59 points. And the Jazz lost in Orlando 115-107. Utah has dropped 7 of 8. The Athletic says there is growing optimism that the Chiefs and Chris Jones get a long-term deal done. The Vikings have reportedly told running back Alex Madison he's getting cut, and Caleb Williams has reportedly declined medical evaluation at the Combine, and he's not allowing USC to release his medical records to teams as well.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Wait, is that even, I would say allowed? They're not in the union yet?
Yeah. I guess it's allowed. I mean, it's always your information.
Combine, I think, is totally voluntary.
Everything about it's voluntary.
So
even the medicals.
But he did say he would do them with teams he visited. So,
right.
So it's back on. People thought that he was going to bail out the whole thing. By the way,
he's being specific.
He spoke this morning. Did you guys see he compared himself to Michael Jordan? Like, there's a lot going on with this guy.
Well, did he do the I'm watching Jordan videos line again, or did he say he's Michael Jordan?
I don't know. I actually haven't been able to see it, but I see Jordan and Caleb Williams is trending. So he's quite confident young man.
Well,
just to skip these medicals just shows that he goes to the path of his own drummer.
Well, he did say that he had been watching tape of Michael Jordan and Walter Payton to kind of get a sense of what they mean to the city of Chicago. He also said he likes the deep dish pizza, which set off a lot of alarm bells for people who don't like deep dish pizza. But he said he wants to be like legendary like those players.
Yeah, he's talking a big game in Indy right now. So I think he's right though. We both agree he's going number 1, right?
I've thought that the whole time.
Yeah, I think
the medical thing is weird though.
That is weird.
That kind of concerns me.
Also, what was the big injury he had?
I don't remember having any injury.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember him missing a game for injury.
What do you gain from not giving them your medical?
Well, if you have something you want to hide.
I mean, maybe you're thinking if you do a targeted approach, I'm only going to talk to the top 3 teams. That's like closing the circle of information that could get leaked.
Oh, you're right. You know,
fair.
maybe he's got something he just doesn't want to be common knowledge. And so if your medicals are out there, right?
That's
like a medication he might be on or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know if that's in the medicals, but he has a right to privacy on stuff.
Yeah, I think
he's
it's
the only guy that's done this
smart.
though.
What's that?
He's the only guy that's went to this length. I mean, now he has a power that maybe most haven't, but
Right.
we've talked about it, quote unquote, generational guys who have at least given medical. I don't know. Seems weird.
I don't know the extent of the medicals. Is it just MRIs and X-rays and stuff like that, or is it your straight up medical history? I don't know.
I mean, they do a lot to you when you're there because that still is the thing that they like the most about Indy teams because it's just a centralized place to get the really important stuff done. So it's definitely a break of tradition for him to not sit in a room and have doctors check his reflexes and whatever.
Right.
I found it interesting. He interviewed with all the teams, though. I think he had 9 or 10 interviews.
The Jets interviewed him, which was funny to me.
Yeah, why didn't he just cut it off at 3 if he says he's
that's
going
what I
to be the
thought
one
too.
there?
Well, if he really flames out, maybe the Jets will come in.
Save him?
Yeah. I understand why the Jets wanted to talk to him. Why do you want to talk to the Jets?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Maybe he's looking for a Jersey Shore
An
house.
Uncle Grown from Pete.
This time yesterday, I told you that Shohei Ohtani announced on Instagram that he had recently gotten married. We were all surprised, along with the Dodgers. Manager Dave Roberts saying yesterday the team didn't know this was coming. He assumes by now some wedding gifts have been purchased and sent in the Ohtani's direction. We still don't know what this woman's name is, but we at least know that she was okay with Ohtani's free agency decision. She was going to go wherever hubby wanted to play.
That had absolutely nothing to do with the free agency, and she has a great understanding of my profession, and she's willing to be wherever I want to play at, and ultimately it was up to me, so it had nothing to do with it.
That, of course, is Ohtani's translator. We were supposed to get more information on her today in some kind of interview, but is the Japanese media too respectful or not good at their job that they're all over this guy and no one knew anything about this?
Well, or if they don't know who she is. Obviously, she's not like a actress or someone who's in the public eye. Maybe they have a different kind of custom there of like actually letting people have a private life as opposed to what our media does.
Must be nice.
But here's my question, right? They got married? Did they have the wedding like reception and ceremony?
So he actually said yesterday that, he wouldn't say when they got married, but it's not brand new because he said they had to wait for paperwork to be done to say anything. So it's not like they got married last Wednesday. It happened somewhere in the off season. So it's done. But you'd think if they had a party, that would raise the possibility of somebody like sharing a photo.
No, I'm saying people might be offended if they weren't invited. Like if you're Mike Trout, maybe he was there. I don't know. Maybe everyone's really good at keeping secrets. But like if you're a teammate, don't you expect?
I mean, he's
going to get invited.
I mean, I don't want to like make this less of him, but he's like the Kawhi Leonard of Major League Baseball. Like I think he really does. It's like, oh, those are my coworkers, and then I have a totally different life.
You don't think Steve Fisher was at Kawhi Leonard's wedding?
Maybe not. Nobody knows anything about Kawhi.
Actually, is Kawhi married?
Was Jack Harlow
exactly.
there?
A lot of people don't know anything about him, and he treats it like that. He treats his job like it's a job. And I think that's how Shohei is too, it seems like.
Here's the important question about Shohei. We know that he's deferring all his money till after he retires.
Uh-oh.
If he gets divorced before the deferment, does she get half of $700 million? I think the deferment, we all thought it was about California taxes. It might have been about this woman.
Wow. There's the storyline right there.
He's trying on a wedding for 10 years to see if it fits, and then divorce her right before
the tarot card reader back. Does she have dark hair?
right before the 70 mil kicks
Lonnie,
in.
what do you think of this strategy by Shohei?
That's a smart strategy. I mean, he must have some information. He must be getting ready.
He went to the tarot card reader.
It'd be funny if he keeps deferring for the next 10 years and the next 10 years. It's like another wife and another wife.
He did his research. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, they're living check for check until he knows that she's cool enough to stick around.
Yeah, I know. She's in a one-bedroom apartment in the valley.
Right. Well,
She's
just cutting costs.
Yeah. She's like, well, why didn't you invite Mike Trout to the wedding? I wanted to meet him.
Probably would have given a good gift.
I got to tell you right now, Mike Trout's low on my list of wedding guests.
Yeah.
He's the most boring MLB player.
He probably is an extremely boring wedding guest. Although he did put the dog mask on when the Eagles were making their Super Bowl
He's great in the
run.
Eagles games, but that's all we know about him that's positive.
Who the best wedding guest is probably, I know people would say Jason Kelsey. Although, no, not everyone kept their shirt on at my wedding. Now that I think about it.
I think going to the Dodgers.
Wow, what happened at your wedding?
Yeah. You want
took
Mookie.
his shirt off.
You want Mookie Betts.
Not me. Not anyone at the wedding party. Sorry.
Mookie would be a great wedding guest. Everybody loves Mookie Betts.
That's true.
I think the Dodgers have much better potential guests than the
Mookie
Angels.
would upstage the bride. He's so
Yeah, he's
popular.
so popular. Clayton Kershaw.
I mean,
everyone loves that guy.
Not me.
No, yeah, I'm not a Kershaw guy. I feel like, I know he's kind of, everybody's down on him, but I feel like Fernando Tatis would be cool.
He looks like
he'd be great.
He's a load of fun.
Yeah.
He'd definitely have a shirt off
user,
at Maggie's wedding.
Yeah.
No, someone split their pants on the dance floor at my wedding. Not me. I was in a dress.
Your pants were okay?
Not your husband either.
Not my husband. A friend of mine split his pants on the dance floor, and to his credit, just stayed and partied. And my friend's husband took his shirt off, and my friend wasn't happy. And they quickly had to go upstairs. So we got married at a hotel, and it was like, and it's time for Jake to go to bed. Jake's been partying a little too hard. Bogusch, thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful weekend. Hey, we have not checked in on this guy in a while. Oh, excited to get an update on one of our favorite athletes. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Before we get to Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams at the podium. Wow. Says he's going to rewrite history. He's leaning into all the expectations, Perloff.
He is. He said, I saw this quote from him now. He said that he learned all these arm angles to throw the ball because he was a swimmer as a kid.
Oh.
He is just such an interesting guy. I know it's unorthodox not doing the medicals. We just talked about it. But I think his personality is pretty good. I know people say, oh, he cried and all that stuff after the game. I think he's going to be just fine in that regard. My only downside with him is Chicago.
Well,
send him indoors somewhere with good wide receivers.
He's setting the bar really high for himself. But you know what? Maybe lean into the expectations. As I said, let's hit Aaron Rodgers.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Well, new book coming out about Aaron Rodgers from our friend Ian O'Connor, and the book is going to be called Out of the Darkness, The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers. But here's the update. As Ian was tweeting about the book, he said he has seen Aaron Rodgers recently, and he looks pretty jacked in the upper body. He confirmed he got bigger. He said, looks ready for a fight. So we're getting swole Rodgers.
Now, is that just for his beach pictures with Miles Teller this summer, or is that for football?
I think it's probably because he has to go easy on the Achilles and he still wants to work out. So now he's going to get all big on the top.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't understand. Ian is an amazing book writer.
Yep.
His books are awesome. It feels like Aaron Rodgers puts it all out there himself. I'm curious, and I'm sure we'll talk to Ian. How do you have anything revelatory about a guy who speaks for an hour and a half every week?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
You know, he's really that. It's funny because those are mostly Ian's subjects. It's not people who are obscure who he makes famous.
Yes.
It's famous people who he dives into.
Belichick, Tiger, yeah, no, and that'll be really interesting. And I think he thought when he started this book, I'm going to follow Aaron Rodgers deep into the NFL playoffs. Which, if you're an author, which is a better story? Aaron Rodgers goes out in week 1 or goes all the way?
Goes all the way.
Yeah,
goes all the way. They'll make a movie out of that.
I do think it's interesting, though. He kind of is there for the comeback.
Yeah. No, it's going to be good either way. I think that's funny. He said he feels like he's looking for a fight. I think we already get defiant Aaron Rodgers, but last year we got real happy-go-lucky Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
You know, my new teammates, my family,
Yes.
I love the Jets, everything. I think he comes back and he's going to be, I don't know. I think he's going to wear a different persona for year 2.
Kind of like LeBron wore the black hat in Miami, a little tougher Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, maybe not the villain necessarily, but he's going to have, I think, a different, I guess, a persona. Like, I think he's going to have a totally different vibe next year.
I want the guy that was yelling at the Giants, don't poke the bear. I think we see that guy full time.
Yeah, we're getting that.
Or the belt against Chicago. Yeah. The cocky Aaron Rodgers. You're right. Nice guy Aaron Rodgers didn't win anything.
He got hurt in game 1. Thank you, DJ Stewart. Thank you to Pete Pilati, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, to Angela, our tarot card reader. If you'd like to find her, tarot card reader Angela Lucy on Instagram. Thank you to Kristen Lappas, the director of the Giannis documentary. And have a great weekend, y'all. We do!
You're in a 5-minute break.